Roll another blunt, roll another shot. I get fucked up off liquor and pop. Let me tell y'all what's happening. Man, I ain't doing no capping. Chillin' with dubs in the video, showing love, cause they know that I be rapping. All the damn time when I'm rapping, I'ma tell y'all what's happening. I'ma pull the act up, I'ma roll the back up, then I get cracking.
What's up, people? Roll another blunt. That's right. Bigger for it entertainment, Smoking Potcast. Got a good show for you guys today. You know, like you see on the thumbnail, it's Barry and the Hatchet. I'll bring my guest in a second. Just to let you know, I am smoking Gelato 33. It helps out with depression, anxiety, and stress. So if you ever have those kind of situations where you stressed out and you want to smoke a little something, go right ahead and do that. You know what I mean? But I'm going to bring in my guest. Oh, and for all y'all that think that, you know, you coming in for some drama, it ain't going to happen, all right? This is a Bear in the Hatchet stream. I'm going to bring in Paul. What up, Paul? How you doing, brother?
Said that mute. I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm, like I said, backstage. I've had an interesting couple of days. Both positive and negative things have happened. So it's been an interesting quote unquote return. Yeah.
Understandable. So you planning on coming back to streaming?
That's in flux at the moment. I don't know at the moment. I don't know about streaming. I think I've said to some people that I'm happy to go on other people's channels, like I'm here today. I don't know if I'll do content myself just yet. I'm more focused on other things that are like in the offline world at the moment. But yeah, it may or may not happen. But I think at the moment, I've had a couple of people reach out to collab, so I may just jump on their channels and talk about stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just want to say Jack Laws is in the house, K-Dots in the house, JG Shallon is in the house. Thank you guys for popping in. K-Dot said, "What's up, Paul?" Dated Fanboy is in the house. He said, "You look
the stash is an interesting thing." So I got sort of itchy under here, you know, so I was like shaving it off. Yeah, it's the worst part for me. And then I have this part here that doesn't grow any hair. So it's just like if I looked up, you can see there's just this patch there. I'm like, why? So I usually shave to like here, right? And I was shaving it, and I was on the phone to my missus, and I was like FaceTiming her, and I ducked over, and I'm like, hey, look, I'm Goose, and she was like, it actually looks really good. So I kept it, and yeah, kind of as a meme with me and Dylan now as well. Like I'm like, I look like you now. Got to grow the hair out. Yeah.
That's good though, man. I'm glad to see everything is good with you. Now, me personally, when I saw the video, I saw the second part and I was like, oh fuck, what are we doing here? Right? Like, what's going on? But then I watched it and I'm like, okay, well, you didn't say anything. You know what I mean? You told your story, but you didn't like disrespect or like go at anybody like that. So I was like, okay, completely understandable, you know? So that's when I reached out to you and I was like, listen, man, you know what? We need to bury this hatchet, get it over with. Like, we were friends, you know what I mean? And it's childish, it's stupid, and I don't think there was anything there that like couldn't come back from that. So I reached out to you and you were like, sure, let's do it. And I said, all right, let's do it, you know? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like when I approached Stormy originally to do it because she's a mental health nurse, as she says in those videos. And I thought it was really important to have someone there that could, and she does it throughout the videos where she takes a break, gets me to take a break from talking so that I can sort of regather my thoughts. It was really important to me. Like, there's a lot of things in retrospect when when you look back and you think about what has transpired, you kind of get a different perspective when you're objectively looking at it, when you're not in the position that you're in when drama or stuff arises. You kind of you're gassed. You're kind of like in this zone of like I said, I was in this zone of like protecting somebody and being like constantly on the defense. So you kind of you choose to believe people, you choose to like, and you were in that room. You saw how outraged I was honestly, for good reason. Like someone said they were going to destroy me. Like, like it's like, but like in the same place, like I say in the video, like, I can understand why that person was enraged at me. Like, I objectively, I can see that now. It's like I wouldn't do that now. That's the thing. Like I learned from that mistake. And so it's kind of like we had like there was like and so many people involved in that too. And it was just it was someone's personal
business
life.
And I think I've said,
and we were involved in that. Like, and you said it in the back room. You're like,
I did.
Why are we talking about this?
Yes.
We should be talking about our on-stream stuff and what rules we're going to put around that. And I remember because I watched it again, like I said in the video, I watched the 6 hours, 6 hours, and 6 hours. Like,
I know.
It was just ridiculous, and that was what. Someone like you, I remember at one point you're like, I'm going to get really in trouble now because I've been super loud and like your missus waking up
and she was yelling. Yeah, 100%. 100%. You know what I mean?
We all faced offline consequences from that back room, I think.
Absolutely.
Some more than others. Yeah.
100%. And I know one of the things with the backstage was an issue for you. And I said, I wanted to explain it. Okay, so first, you did a video one time with, I think it was Joker on there, right? And you were talking about how me and Nerdman were going to do a video on you. And I wanted to explain that to you right away. Like we were never planning on disrespecting you, right? Nerdman had come to me after the stream and he was like, hey, Paul did a video criticizing one of my videos. He said, do you want to do a video on that? And I said, okay, sure. I was like, yes. But I told him, and I said this, and there was a third party in there that was witness to it. I said, we can do it, but I am not going to disrespect the man. I'm not going to do it. If you want to go for point talking points, that is fine, but there will be no disrespect. And everyone was like, yeah, I never planned to do it like that. You know what I mean? I said, okay, so if you want to do it and just go against the points, no problem. But to let you know that there was never, ever going to be any disrespect towards you on that stream, right?
Yeah.
Because by that time we were over it, right?
By that time I was so gassed. Like I was so in this place of like, because I had like I said, I had like Broden, I had Enosh, I had like all these people. I was gonna swear, all these fucking people like coming at me from all different directions. Like some of them were attacking my then fiance. Like
yeah.
And I was so gassed. Like I was just so like everyone is out to get me. I need to. And then like I said, I was like on this mission of like I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Like I'm just like let's do a drama stream after drama stream after kill stream. And it's just like, and it just became. That's what it became. That's what my channel became. And it started like so light and so like about just talking about WandaVision and how shit it was, and then it became like it became just so it just became a fall. It just became it deformed into just drama and interpersonal drama and interpersonal stuff and offline drama, and then that became online drama. And it was really shitty time of my life.
I agree with you 100%. So that's why I said, because when you talk about the video, you talk about that you told someone. It was me. You told me, right? We had a conversation. It was a private conversation where you said you recorded the backstage. Now, I'm like you, right? I like to protect the people that I care about. I was close to you, but I was closer to K-Dot and Ashley, right, at the time. So my thinking was, if I don't say anything and Paul lets it out, and then they're like, hey, did you know about this video? Oh, yeah, Paul told me about it before. They're going to look at me sideways, why didn't you warn us? Why didn't you do that? That's why I did that, right?
Yeah. And but you also, to your credit, you told me, well, when the Twitter stuff started happening between Ashley and I, you reached out and you were like, God, I didn't know that this was going to happen. Like, I'm sorry. I was the one that told her. But like, it's like you were like, this, like, this has gone out of hand, because that's when Ashley and I were back and forth on Twitter, like in public, like going after each other, like personally. And it just became, it was it was like for me, and I understand the loyalty thing for me, like I explained in the video, for me, I was loyal to Dylan. Like, so when I was told by an individual that something was happening to Dylan's bro, and I was sort of getting close to Dylan's bro at the time. Like, we had like back rooms together where we talked and stuff. Like, so I was pretty close to them. Like, Dylan's like a brother to me currently. Like after 2023, I talk about that also in the video. But like, I was super close to him. So when someone told me that this was what was going on, or that was their perception, I was like, we need to tell Dylan because this is some bullshit. Like, no one should be doing this to, I don't like that behavior turns out I suffered from that behavior in 2023, but like, I don't like that behavior from women. I don't like that. I don't like it from guys as well. But like, and like, so that was my perception. And that's why it all happened, because I was like, okay, what do I do with this information now? I should, as a friend, I should tell Dylan. But then in doing that, it turned from offline into online straight away, because then it needed to be, then Dylan's bro was told and he confronted, and then it all, where did this information come from? Yeah. So it was really just a bunch of drama that necessarily didn't have to happen, but at the time it was like the Andy stuff was still happening fresh as well. Like it was just, everything was still like, everything was an attack at that time on me, or on, again, my current girlfriend, fiance. Like it was like everything was like, I'm defending. Oh, this shit's happened in the community too. Like, and it didn't help that was the exact thing that Jody accused her of as well. Like, so it was like in my mind, I was like, oh, it's the same behavior in my community now. I need to fucking get this person. Like, and it was I need to oust this person. And like, that was like where my brain was. And it was not right. Like, I want to say from like the get-go, that was not the right attitude to have.
And I get that too, right? And I can understand. That's why I'm like, maybe you can understand why I had to tell them. You know what I mean? Because I'm like you. I felt like K-Dot was like, I feel like he's like my son. He reminds me of my son. And Asha's like a little sister to me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, especially after that backstage, like she was crying and all kinds of stuff. I was like, I felt like I had to protect. You know what I mean? And that's why I did what I did. But also, what I think got lost in that too is, even when we had that conversation, we talked for hours, and that was the only thing I ever told anybody about what we said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we talked a lot about what was happening at the time, and just trying to move forward in our own personal bubbles and try to leave it behind. I remember a lot of that. So it wasn't a thing. I feel like it was all in flux at the time too. Like there was I don't know where you want this to go, but I can get into like the beefs at the time, and like what was happening in my brain when it came to like you and your channel and stuff. Like, so like there was a lot of off our chest happening, right? And I would watch that show, and Dylan would watch that show, right? And we had counter opinions to people on the panel. It was often that we would, because we would have our perspective, and I'm going to just say what it was. You guys had your perspective from growing up as you are, and we had our perspective as growing up as we were, like me as a white man, him as a white American, black perspectives, right? Absolutely. And I thought that was good, as long as we could like try to link common ground together, or try to do that. And I think what happened was, when Dylan did his Colin Kaepernick video, which he's privated now, because I told him, I watched it again like recently. I think last week I showed my bestie it, and we're having a good laugh, and just had how angry he was at this guy. And in some places I was like, he's justified in his annoyance with Colin. But he didn't do it. I watched the whole thing that he did, so I saw from his perspective how he grew up. So like I could, like, for me, my critique was, there was a lot of places where he could, like when he was pulled over by the cop when he was learning to drive, like I was like, there's a lot of places he had legitimate, like institutionalized racism, like he had legitimate like complaints. But then when he compared NFL tryouts to chat, I was just like, you've gone too far, man. Like you had points that you could have said, like, and you could have nailed on those points and really driven home your point about like what it was like to grow up as a Black American. But like you took it too extreme, like to this extreme. And I think that's what offended Dylan so much about it, and offended a lot of white folks, I think, at the time. Yeah, and I think that was the point. It was an outrage. That's why they used that as the intro. Like they knew what they were doing.
The slavery stuff.
Stoke outrage and get people to watch it, essentially. And that's what got me to watch it. I was like, what is this guy's deal? Like, what is he doing? Like, why is he comparing this? But like, I watched the whole thing. But it was like during that time, that's like when I give context, give just context to it. It's during that time, like I think we're both in the chat often and we disagree or we give a different perspective to like my outside, because I don't know what it's like to grow up as a white American. I don't know what it's like to grow up as a Black American. I don't know what it's like to grow up as a Black Canadian or white Canadian. I don't know any of those experiences. I know what it's like to grow up as a white Australian, and I know that there's difficulties here that are unique to Australia that do not translate overseas and vice versa. But what I did try to do is learn from people. I think, like, I remember there was a time when Yellow and I were on good terms. I one time had a Discord chat with him after a stream. I remember 30 minutes I talked to him about what could be done to improve Black America and communities. And I wanted to learn, I wanted to understand from a perspective of a Black man, like what was going on. Like, because there's media and then there's people on the ground.
Right.
And anyway, that's just giving context to where my brain was at the time. I can't speak for Dylan, and I don't want to speak for him. And he doesn't really want to be involved anymore anyway, because he's living his life and he's living his best life. And he's really happy. So, but like at that time, there was just racism was thrown around a lot as like the escape door. And it was like, bro, like, I'm legitimately giving a good point. And I remember the time I sort of fell apart for me was like, because I really like Danny, just putting it out there. And I've had really good conversations with him about movies on other platforms, even on Off Our Chest. I've had really good things. And there was a time I remember where all Dylan did was thank Danny for giving like a different angle on it. And saying like and he said thank you, Danny, for like kind of explaining it out or whatever. And he was called racist for that. And it was just like it just blew my mind. I was like, bro, can you not see him? He's saying thank you for taking the words that were just said and putting them in a different place so that I can understand the perspective that you're trying to put across as a Black American.
But
like, and it was just
only one person called him racist.
I know. And I agree with you. But like everyone was silent. That's the thing I was getting to. Like, everyone else was silent, and I was like, okay, so they're all silently agreeing. They're not disagreeing, so they're silent. And that's where my brain was at. It was like, if you're not. That's the streaming game. It's like, if you're not for me, you're against me. And it's this whole stupid it's like that 3-year-old mentality I was talking about where like, it was the same Andy sort of thing. It was like, oh, you can't play with that person because they said something mean about me. If you do that, you're not my friend anymore. And it was just like, aren't we all just here talking about TV shows? Like, like, I mean, Off Her Chest is a little bit more about real world events. You show videos of things happening and stuff. But it was just like, I feel like, and I guess we're here to bury the hatchet, so I'm just being so honest about. I'm just going to be honest.
No, it's cool because I've said this many times. The reason why we've had you guys on there is so that we can have these different type of perspectives, right, and learn off of each other and stuff like that. And I know, okay, we didn't say anything. There's been times where things happen on the stream and I usually don't say nothing, right? Maybe I should check it more often, but sometimes I don't, right? But I have defended you many times backstage with Yellow.
I saw that. Yeah. Well, I saw it on stream one time. I remember I said something. I don't remember what it was, but you're like, hey, like, because I think someone arched up. I think it was Lonely Banter. He's another person that thinks I'm a Trumper, and I'm like, I'm an Australian, man. Like, I don't like. I'm a center these days. I'm a centrist. Like, I see the good and bad in both sides of it. Like, and I would probably say I'm more center left than I am anything else now. Like, I like my socialized healthcare in Australia, and I see what it's like in America without socialized healthcare. I'm like, I like that. That's a leftist policy. Like it's like. So it's just like you know what I'm talking about. You're Canadian.
Yeah,
like,
I love my.
I love my.
I
love being able to go to the GP and pay like $50 like instead of 200. You know, like and like it's like yeah, I can see the positives in you know, because you grow up, you're like you start listening to other things, and I listened to more lefty political spheres when I was listening to them. I don't really do that anymore because I'm kind of checked out. But yeah, I guess that's kind of like one of the things that happened, and then I guess, and again, that was like a loyalty thing. It was like, oh, you've tarnished my boy Dylan. Like I know he's not a racist. Like he's talked to me in backstages about how like he is like almost opposite to a lot of his family, and like how he's seen the racism in Texas towards the Latin community, like in Mexicans, you know, like. And like they're like some of the hardest workers that he's ever seen. Like he's not that way. And it was just like, it was just like, bro, you don't know him. That was my biggest issue. It's like, you can't call someone racist unless they actually say something racist. Like, and it's Absolutely. Like, and it's like, and they have to really, and I guess it was like that time of, it was also around that really hectic time of like,
it was
and all the things happening, and like a lot of rage, and a lot of like both sides doing their rage baiting and all the rest of it, and as you do on social media, and I guess it was so heightened. It was like if you said one thing, and I said this I think in the video as well, you say one thing and you're automatically allotted to that camp. Like I remember way back, I was like, I think Ray is a Mary Sue, and then everyone said I was Phantom Menace. And I was like, I don't prescribe to that group of people. Like, I have my own views on a movie. Like,
absolutely,
not to have them. And it's the same with politics, and it's the same with the streaming world. And so, I guess that was like the biggest thing that happened. But yeah, the biggest beef with you and me was when you did that. You were like, you told him after I told you in confidence, you went and told that, and then that whole Ashley thing happened, which also put pressure again on my offline relationship, because I was trying to shut down the drama, and then I got roped back into it on Twitter, which is, again, I'm not blaming anyone for that. Right. I chose to get involved. I chose to do these things. If the consequences are mine and mine alone, you know. Yeah.
And I say this, like I'll say it now so you guys know, I used to say you guys had racist talking points because of maybe what you guys followed or what you heard, but never once did I ever think you or Pickle were racist, right? And I never thought that. I just had sometimes the talking points, I was like, you know what I mean? But other than that, like I wouldn't have had you on my stream if I ever thought you were racist, or if I ever thought you were a friend, or didn't think you were a friend, you know what I mean? So I just felt, like I said, it went too far, right? And I think the biggest issue for me is because I've kind of distanced myself for a while, and then you made a tweet threatening Ashley. And I think that's when I jumped back in, and that's when me and you really blew up. You know what I mean? That's when it was like, okay, you know. But at the end of the day, I don't think it was ever anything to be like, you know, if I see Palm in a fucking we're fighting type of situation, you know, childish shit. That's why I'm like, if we can't fucking settle it, then you know what I mean? Are we real men because it was stupidness? You know?
Yeah, and I think it is dumb. It's like you start something in pop culture, and for it to get to where it was, it is stupid. And yeah, things are gonna get heated sometimes. Like people are gonna think certain things, but for me, one thing I've learned the most is if you think someone is saying something that's offensive, or it is offensive on its face, if you think they're saying something racist or sexist or whatever, maybe just ask them to phrase it in a different way. And if they phrase it in a way that sounds exactly the same, then you know where their perspective is. Like, because that sounds kind of racist. Could you put it in a different way? Like, but I think again, it's all on who receives it and who speaks it. And I think there's like that perception that falls into place as well. It's like, oh, you're just a white boy. You don't know what it's like to grow up in the hood. Like, and it's like, but you don't know what happened to me. Like that's what I like in my mind. I'm like, you don't know what my life has been. You don't, we could have very similar things that have happened to us. It's just that we grew up in different circumstances. Like, and I think that's important to
absolutely
when we're interacting with people, that we we have this perspective to assume something about someone because of their, like, where they live or what they're doing or what their job is, and like we all have human experiences that are similar.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's important to remember that.
I'm Canadian. I don't know what it's like to live in the hood in the States. You know what I mean? I don't know. The only common thing I have is that I'm a black man. But other than that, I don't know what it's like to go to school and not have enough books for the people in the classrooms and stuff like that. I don't know that stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, my perspective is I try to come with like, okay, I can try and understand what it's like, kind of a thing, but I've never experienced it. Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can say I've experienced racism like Americans do, but even still not the same way, because I don't have to tell my kid that the cops are going to kill him and he needs to be careful. You know what I mean? I don't have to have that kind of conversation. So even though I may be a black man, I still don't know the full extent of what it's like to be an American in the hood. I don't know that.
Yeah. And like this is a thing, like I think it's like important to remember that, I guess, is that people, like, I've had a racist experience. Like, I was walking to the movies, right? Just down where I live, like as in across town. I was walking to the cinema and Arrows came out of a house. They were like, "Hey, white boy." And then and I was with some friends, and my like I got a bloody lip. They punched me up. They punched the hell out of my friend who had to go to hospital. Like, and I was like, just because we were white walking down the street. Like, and it's like, and that's my perspective. But I wasn't like, so I work with an Aboriginal, and we had this conversation at a party once, and it was a really good conversation because he was talking to me about his, and I was listening to his perspective, and he was listening to mine. And like, I talked about this incident that happened, and like, I had a choice at that moment to take my experience there and tarnish every Aboriginal with that experience and say every Aboriginal is racist and wants to beat me up, and I'm going to cross the street when I see one, right? Or I could go, that was those individuals who were racist towards white people. Not every Aboriginal is racist. And like, that is a perspective I think a lot of people don't have. They have like a racist experience, and they're like, this whole bunch of people, all black people are this, or all white people are this. And it's like, but this is not how the human race works. Like, this is not, there are white people that just walk around doing their business. They're not racist at all. They're not subconsciously racist. They're not any of these things. They're just trying to live their lives, like, and feed their family. Like, and it's like, and then the same goes for Aboriginals. The same goes for black people, the white people, America, everything. Like, there's certain segments of the human race that are racist. There's no doubt in my mind that racism is not dead. In America, in Australia, there's still things
in Canada.
Dude, I literally said, so there's one thing here, and this is like a little bit of a thing, but I just want to give an example of this. Like,
yeah, go ahead.
So like, when I was talking to this guy, he said to me, I want to celebrate Australia. So Australia Day is like our 4th of July. Like, and like, it's like the day of federation when we became a nation, right? And our federal government was still racist institutionally. They considered Aboriginals to be fauna. That white Australia policy existed, and anybody looks that up, they'll see an abhorrent document. So this guy was like, I want to celebrate with my Australian brothers and sisters. That's what he said to me, but I can't do it on that date because that's the date that the government was institutionalized, and they institutionalized racism. And I was like, I had a conversation with a family member, and I was like, and they were so adamant about not changing the date. I'm like, I said, if we just did it, if we just changed the date, right, we could all celebrate it. If we just did that one thing, we would show Aboriginal Australia that like there are white people that just want to live in peace with them and want to, and we could have them celebrate their culture on that day as well. They can go out, they can do like their dancing, and they can do the like the didgeridoo and all that stuff. Like they can celebrate, and we can go and we can all celebrate together. Vietnamese, Australians, Chinese, because we've got a huge immigrant population from Asia here. Like it's like the Latin America, like essentially, like we have lots of Australasian people here, and they're all second gen. They sound like me. Like they have my accent. Like and it's like they're all Australians. And it's just change the date and we're good. Right? So like this is perspectives of like people who don't want racism to exist in our country, and we're trying to do things like little things here and there that can actually do that. But that's just that I wanted to highlight that because that's what comes out of a conversation with somebody from the other side, like of a coin. Like, and that's why I enjoyed Off Our Chest, because you often had that, like, but at the end, it felt like, and I don't mean any offense with this, but this is my perspective from back then. It felt like it became a hug box where, like, it was like black people get on.
We were talking about white people. Yes, I know.
People and no white people on the panel to go, hey, actually, this might be a different, or go, yeah, that cop is a son of a bitch racist. Like, agree with you, like this is obscene, like, you know, like there was no it just became have a hug box. And I think a lot of that was because of the stuff that happened between Dylan and myself, and we were on the panel and off the panel. White people just were like, okay, I'll wash my hands of this because they don't want my perspective because I'm racist if I give it. And that was Dylan. I know that I can speak for Dylan in that was Dylan and my perspective on it. Like that everything's racist and we can't have a voice in this. And that was what happened.
So here's the thing, right? I remember because we used to always have to say, we're not talking about all white people, right? Because when you guys would make comments, it would seem like you're trying to say we're talking, and I was like, no, we're not talking about all white people. We're talking about the racist group. It was never about generalizing all white people, right? Now, the reason why, and you know the reason why it wouldn't work for you guys to have come on the panel is because Yellow was always there. And you and Yellow had that beef going on, right? So
I had no beef with Yellow. I want to make that clear. Like
I know you didn't, right? I know. Yeah, I know you did. I know there was a beef there. He didn't like you, whatever. So I understand that. So, and especially, and I a lot of this I think happened before that stream we tried to do. So I didn't know how bad it was until we did that stream and he bounced off of there, right? We checked him on that too, though. We did. We's like, yo, bro, come on, that wasn't cool. You know what I mean? But that's the reason why it was like, well, you know, Yellow's there, so can't have Paul or Pickle on like that. Because it just even if we were talking about it, would have derailed it. Like something would have came up and heads would have rolled and stuff like that. And I wasn't trying to do that with the OOC, like the drama. I wanted it to keep it to a conversation where it was we can learn from each other, right? And that's why when he wasn't there, it was okay for you guys to come in. But I understand that you guys felt like you didn't have a voice, but you did. It was just one particular person that was always saying racist, calling you racist, you know. So
yeah.
But it was never directed towards all white people, like, you know. And now I'm at the point where I see a lot of this racist stuff on Twitter, and that's what I'm fighting. Like that's where my focus is now, right? Narratives and all kinds of, and I'm like, this is the stuff that I want to get rid of. And it has nothing to do. I know all white people aren't racist. We know that. It's just the ones that were, and that's who we were mainly talking about. So
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so no, that was it. That was like my main thing. And I feel like, well, like if I address what you just said, I would say like if like I didn't have any beef with Yellow other than when he called Dylan racist, like blatant. It was like when he asked Denny to just, it was like he had thanked Denny for just giving a different perspective. And also just in like in that frame, like Danny always said, like he would never be on a panel with like blatant racists, like ever. And like and like I've been on many panels with Danny because I'm not a racist. Like I don't hate people because of their skin color or culture. Like but it was like so anyway, like from my perspective, I was like I didn't have any beef with Yellow. I like even with the Dylan stuff, I was like, that's between him and him. I don't care too much about that. But like him bouncing off panels like or doing that stuff, it was like, I guess for me, my challenge to you would be like if he didn't want to hear another perspective or he'd made his mind up about the perspective before it was even said. So like if you wanted another perspective, if you wanted the white perspective, if you want to call it that, which is as like unsatisfying that is to me, like to say out loud. But if you wanted that perspective, it was either have him on, have a hug box, or have actual like a little bit of like wrestle with like words and a little bit of a wrestle with like thoughts and ideas to like work out whether something was blatantly racist or whether something there was a different angle. Like, and I think a lot of that stuff like so I'll give an example. George Floyd, blatantly racist. Absolutely, completely. When I saw that footage, I was like, this is disgusting. When I saw like the like when Dave Chappelle did his special, I was like that was like super impacting to me. I was like, this is right. What he's saying is correct, right? But then when we go to like the to something like I forget the riot, the really famous riot with that white kid that was
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse. When we go to that has a lot of gray. That has a lot, like there's things that we could like agree on and that like you shouldn't have been there, but like there's a lot of gray there. Like the New York Times posting that he shot 3 black people, he didn't shoot a single black person. Like that kind of stuff, like that's the sort of stuff that we can like there's perspectives
fight
to
against,
be like, yeah, we can go, hey, let's work out like what the actual truth is here. Like let's figure it out, you know, because that doesn't that's not blatantly racist. Why was he there? What was he doing? What precipitated the riot? Oh, a cop shot a black dude, but what was that guy? I forget his name. The guy that was taking off in the car, his girlfriend's car with his kids. You know.
Oh, and the cop shot him.
With a knife. Like he had a knife, and he was taken off with. I'm like, the question there is, did the police have enough right to shoot him from kidnapping those kids with a knife? Like that's something that can be discussed. You know what I'm saying? Like not now, obviously, but that's what I'm trying to give. Like there's 2 different things that we can agree on, and then there's things that are gray. And it's like, and all this stuff was happening at this height of BLM, so everyone was really hiding in their emotions. You see, like all this stuff happening. You'd see riots, and then there would be white people going, they're burning down their own stores. Like, what are they doing? Like, you'd have black people in there peaceful protesting, and Antifa firebombing stores, and the black people going, don't do this. This is not what we're about. We're here to peacefully protest. And there was like nuance in that, whereas there were people of my color, like going, they're all animals. Like they're just burning down everything. I'm just like, you are not seeing what's happening in these videos. Right. Like you're choosing not to see nuance. And so I guess that was like the thing. Like I was like, it's like if I had an all white panel and you were in the comments going, hey, no, like there's things going here. And I'm like, and I was like, I can't have Nzo on because this person doesn't like him, but I want to have that perspective, but I can't have him on because this person doesn't like him. And it's just like, that's what I wrestled with back then. It was like that whole, do we want to have a conversation or do we want to have a hug box? Like, and it's like, and do we want people on our panel calling other people racist for giving that external opinion, that alternative opinion that isn't actually racist? So like that was my struggle back then, and that's where I guess the not beef, but there was an animosity there. I was like another one of these channels that just wants to call everything racist. Like, and it's just like that's what my perspective was, and it was just like. And then obviously it was informed then by the drama that unfolded, which was but that's that. I don't, to be clear, I don't really have that. I don't have any of these opinions anymore. I'm talking about like past opinion.
At the time. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I'm very much like, I'm over it, man. Like, I know there's other people that aren't over it, but I just don't really care. Like, it's like, it's not enough for me to care about anymore, like, or get stressed about, because it's like, yeah, it was all COVID pandemic stuff. It was like we were all terminally online because there was nothing else to do. You know, and I guess that's where people became their worst selves, I think. At least for me, I became my worst self.
Yeah, I've poked the bear a couple of times too. I remember you saying on the video you poked the bear, and I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if Paul's going to poke the bear, I'm going to poke the bear too. And that was childish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's like, just have it out. Just be direct.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Don't use innuendo. So, I mean, to fairness, I did challenge Lonely Banter to a debate like twice back in the day.
I remember.
With no reply, and I was like, you can't be saying shit on stream, like, and like, and then be all like, look at me, like, how good am I? Like, I'm so good, I have all the right opinions, but then when someone challenges you, you don't have them on. Like, it's like, it's like you can't, you know, do all that. Do all that stuff. So like back in the day, like there were people that I challenged, like, you know, to have like full on things with, and some of them did, and some of them, Enosh, to his credit, did. You know, came on and debated the whole thing, and that turned into a shit show anyway. Like, it's just like, it's like, and that's what happens. It inevitably does, because it's like, you don't like each other. Just don't be around each other. Don't just choose not to. And if like people are like it was like, it's like, just choose to give it a go.
Kumbaya. Yeah, Danny. You know what
correct.
I mean?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
That's how it should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's like, just if you can agree on something, and that's like why I talked about like movie talk and stuff. It's like I talked about this. It's like someone told me, a woman I knew told me they liked Captain Marvel. That was her favorite movie in the MCU. And in my mind, I was like, God damn, like in my head, I was like, what an idiot. And all my critique mind and my movie talk mind went to, and then I was just like, and I stopped myself and I was like, that's really good. I'm glad that you enjoyed that movie. That's what I said. Because it's like, who am I to steal someone's like love of something? Like,
absolutely.
Like if they ask me for a critique of something, then I'm going to give it. Like, I'm gonna like, what did you think of this movie? I'm gonna tell them what I said to her was like, I didn't really like it. I didn't think it was really well written or really well acted. But I'm glad that you like it. Again, like I reinforced, I'm glad that you liked it. Like, but it's like, that's what movie talk became to me. It was like and that's what it became. It was like, I get on, I wasn't enjoying anything I was watching. Marvel was just shit after dog shit, like with the exception of Guardians and half of Quantumania. Right. And like, I was just like, and movie talk. I'm glad I wasn't doing movie talk last year, because there was a few diamonds in the rough, but that year was 2020.
She-Hulk.
Yeah, God help us. Yeah. And like, that's where I quit Marvel. That show was it. Like, I was like, I'm not watching the rest of this.
Trash.
I was like, I can't watch this. But like, if I'm gonna do movie talk, that's what it became. It was like, everything was just, this is shit. This was terrible. I hated watching this. And I was like, it was weird. Like, I used to really critique I was gonna say I was gonna critique like I used to really critique Ragnarok a lot, like as a comedy film right before Endgame, like before Infinity War. It didn't make sense. Like, but I remember watching it without movie talk hat on in 2023, and I remember laughing a lot on that, and like I enjoyed the film for what it was, and it was like the first time I'd watched a Marvel film that I critiqued so hardly and just enjoyed it. But that can't be said for Quantumania. When I saw that at the cinema, I was like,
well, I still think you're crazy for liking Ragnarok for the second time, but it is what it is, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I don't know. I like Thor, so he's my favorite Avenger. So like Ragnarok really showed him, like he's the strongest in Infinity War, but Ragnarok really, he had Odin's power, and it was like, I like Hera as a villain, but like it was yeah, it was for me. I was like, I'm enjoying this movie for what it is. It's just a popcorn film. Like it's like Fast 10. That movie, I know objectively, is trash. But Jason Momoa in that film,
Killed
I
it.
laughed every single
Yeah,
time he was on
me
screen.
too.
I enjoyed every moment that he was in because he
Me
knew
too.
what movie he was in. He knew what he was doing. You know, like, and I love the Fast series, except for Fast 9. That movie is irredeemable.
Garbage.
But like,
Garbage.
but like, Fast 10 was like a return to form. It was stupid. Physics didn't matter, and there was a really dumb villain that was comedic in it. Like, and that's sometimes it's good to just go watch a movie and just chill, turn the brain off, and just be like, this movie, I know it's garbage. Like, I couldn't do that for Baghead though.
See, we agree on the Fast 10 because I hated Fast 9. I thought that was ass. They went to fucking space. I'm like, what are we fucking doing here?
They were in a car with duct tape, like duct tape and alfoil. I'm like, what is this movie? Yeah, it was really stupid.
It's like you can go far, but you can't go. And 10 went far, but at least they gave us Jason Momoa. You know what I mean? The action was pretty good. So I was like, okay, I at least enjoyed it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was ass. You know, it's one of those movies that if someone says it's garbage, I can understand why.
I understand. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's the same with Love and Thunder for me. Someone says Love and Thunder is garbage. I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's irredeemable. What they did to Thor is irredeemable.
And we used to get too heated over some of this movie stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it used to get really heated, you know? And I think Donnie does it the best because when he sees it going heated, he'll just be like, okay, that's it. You're right. You know, and then let's move on. And that's what we should do. But
I've watched him on Basco's panel where like he has a disagreement with the rest of the panel where he likes something and they don't like it. And he's like, I think that you're he says, I don't know, I don't think he says you're insane, but he's like, I think that you're like, you know, it targets their mind a bit, but then that's it. He's like, I think you're really not liking this film, but like we're gonna move on. Like it's like, and that's that's what I appreciate about that. That's the kind of thing that I'm trying to like. I've been doing offline. Like it was funny. I watched Baghead at the cinema with my girl because she wanted to see it, and I was like, "This is not going to be good." I told her straight out, "I'm like, it's not going to be. The trailer is not good." Like, but she's like, "Let's give it a chance." And even halfway through, she's like, "Are you bored?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "A little bit." Like, but we watched the end. I remember we just laughed at the end of it at how bad it was, but we sat through it, and I was like, we still managed to enjoy something that was absolutely ass. Like, but it was like because I was with someone that just didn't take it seriously. I didn't have my critique hat on. I just watched the movie and I'm like, oh, this is pretty boring. But yeah, we got super heated. Like it was like super heated about those like, you know, the championship like, you know, streams where we debate or whatever. And then there was every single time we got to like people would just yell their opinions about like what it was like, and I was just like, it's a movie, guys. Like it doesn't really matter who wins at the end of this. We're doing this for the audience. Like I mean, obviously, a lot of people liked us arguing. People loved when Mike and I got into it. Like they loved that stuff, but it was damaging to both of us because we just get angry.
Yes,
like, and then we'd have animosity off screen because we're angry at each other. I remember I was angry 2 days later after a stream, and I was like, "This is not good. This is affecting my offline life. Like, it's not good." Like, and Stormy said something really relevant in those things. Like, people that stream often ignore their mental health. They don't realize what's happening to them until they're offline and they touch it, and they realize how much this like environment affects offline life. Like I was with my girlfriend yesterday and I was stressing over what has happened in the last 24 hours, etc., and people's different opinions. Hey LDG, man, I missed you too, buddy. He's another one. Like he would go on and on about his like. Remember how he had that theory about one vision, like all that stuff, right? And the Matrix 4. And I watched the Matrix 4, and I was like, "Oh, what a trash film!" Like it's like, why did they make this trash?
Garbage.
And he was still like trying to rescue it, and it was really funny. Like, you know,
garbage.
Like, it's all in the mind. It's all in like, and it's just funny. Like. That's the kind of like thing that I wanted to, if I was ever to do movie talk again, if I was ever to critique something, I'd just critique it. And if someone's like, no, I really like these parts, it's like, yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed those parts. Like, but like this film is garbage. I think you're nuts. Like, yeah. But yeah, I feel like it became he's going on, but he's distracting.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna get to that. Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. Because
I haven't. To be fair, I haven't watched Madam Web yet. I have not watched it because I've seen enough. Like the fact that Chris Stuckman didn't want to review it is enough for me to be like, I can't. It's not another Morbius. Morbius, I laughed all the way through because it was so bad that it was good. Like it was just like this is ridiculous.
It's worse than Morbius.
But yeah, everyone said that Madam Web is worse.
Madam Web, straight fighter, total awesomeness. Can't wait for Madam Web 2. I think I'm going to watch it in IMAX. First off, I know you capping, Danny. I know you lying. You are not going. You've never seen a movie in IMAX. There's no way Madam Web is going to be your first movie in IMAX. So stop the lies. But Chillmonger asked me to ask you about Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. So that's as much as I haven't posted on Twitter until recently, I had my account since early last year. So I was watching a lot of. I followed a lot of people. I was watching in silence. A lot of stuff. I saw a lot about the Jonathan Majors stuff. About like whatever that happened to him, whether fair or not fair. Marvel's screwed because that was what are they, Dynasty of Kang? Like they got to are they gonna recast him? It's like they're screwed. Like Marvel, the MCU they need to stop. They just need to take a break, like to stop making things for a bit. And I think DC's about to come into its own. I think James Gunn's about to release maybe the best Superman film we've got since Superman 2. I think that might be what's about to happen. That's my opinion on. I think that's what's about to happen because he likes the comics. He loves comics, so I feel like he's going to, as the creative director, give us something that God help us. Can't
get any worse than what Snyder did.
We can't get worse than that. Help nihilistic Superman. We can't get worse than that. But as for Jonathan Majors, look, I don't know if he did it or not. I don't know if he deserved it or not. I think at the end of the day, there's too much controversy. I think again, he was convicted without he's now being found guilty, right? That's what happened. Yeah. So he was convicted in the court of public opinion, as it always goes, before it actually happened. So if he wasn't found guilty, I'd be really upset about it. Not really upset, but I'd be like, this is not fair. But the fact that he was found guilty, Marvel can't have him in their movies. They're Disney. They can't do it. It's like Gina Carano. The same thing with her. They can't have him associated, which is now that he's guilty of a crime. It just makes no sense. But yeah, I think Marvel's in big trouble.
Danny sent another $5 super chat. Thank you, Danny. Said, real talk, I'm not watching any MC movies in theater this year. They destroyed Major's future in the franchise. Not getting my money this year. And you know what? I'm right there with you, Danny, too, right? Because at the end of the day, even though he was charged, they were misdemeanor charges. One of them wasn't even like a criminal offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they could have, okay, we're going to keep you in the background for a bit.
Make a deal.
X-Men and stuff like that. Then in a few years later, bring them back. They could have did something like that. You know what I mean? But it was just 30 minutes after guilty, they fired him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and that's their own business to work out now. They have to work out where their direction is now. I think they should lean into X-Men, although I saw the end credit scene I didn't watch them. So to be fair, Enzo, I haven't watched any of Marvel TV shows since She-Hulk, not one at all. I've been told by Dylan to watch Loki season 2. Apparently that's good.
It's pretty good,
because I liked Loki season 1, except for the end episode, because Jonathan Majors was acting like he was like he'd smoked a bowl beforehand or something. It was an interesting choice. But I haven't watched anything. The only Marvel movies I've seen is Across the Spider-Verse, Quantumania, and The Guardians 3, which is pretty much the last of the Avengers after Endgame, Guardians 3. So, and it was a good.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was a really, really, really good movie. Really good end to that team. So I agree with him. I'm not excited for anything at all Marvel related. You know what I'm really excited about? And I think I posted about this. Like, I'm excited for other genres to be hitting it at the center. Like anyone but you, like making the money that it did as a romantic comedy is exciting to me. And like, I know a lot of people don't like that film or it's generic. Like, I enjoyed that movie. I laughed a lot. There's a lot of Australian humor in it because it's based in Sydney. So that's probably why I got it a lot more than the American audience. But like, I'm excited that other movies are making it big. I'm excited that Dune made 170 million in its first week. Like, I'm like, fine, like, because I love high-end sci-fi, right? A lot of people find it boring, but I'm like, at least something, like, at least there's difference. There's different things at the cinema. It's not all superhero movies. We've got other things to watch. Like, the best movie of last year was
Oppenheimer.
It got Best Picture. Michelle Yeoh's in it.
Everything, Everywhere.
That's the best. That was the best movie I saw last year. It beats Guardians for me. Like, and I love Guardians 3. But that movie I watched 3 times with different people, and I actually got emotional in different parts of that film each time I watched it, and it was just, it's a fire film. It's so good, and like the fact that it won all that, like, I think actually it was released in 2022 actually, but like that. I watched it in 2023, early 2023, before the Oscars, hit it up with the picture and stuff. But like, I'm just excited that cinema is doing different things. Like, and we're getting production companies actually investing in movies that aren't fitting that superhero tentpole, mold. So that's exciting for me. But I'm excited for DC at the moment. I think the Superman film has a lot of buzz around it. I'm looking forward to what James Gunn can do with it. And I'm excited. That's that emblem. I like the emblem. I think it's really good. So I'm excited for everything's coming out from DC currently. I think it is a recency bias thing, because it's like, oh, I'm excited for anything that isn't Snyder. Like, God help us. Like, let's get away. Like, thank God. I didn't watch Aquaman 2. Fuck that film.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, like, I was not interested. I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh, so he goes on an adventure with another person to find a thing to beat the bad guy at the end in a big battle. Like, it's exactly the same movie as the first one. Like, I'm just
that's why it's not as bad. If you like the first one, it's kind of on the same lines as the first one. So it's like, okay, well, this isn't bad. Because I'm like, I didn't want to see it, but then I went to go see it, and I'm like, okay, this isn't bad,
Yeah, but I think I'll watch it on streaming when I'm bored or something. I didn't watch The Flash either. I got sent some stills from from when he's saving the babies, and I laughed so hard. I was like, I want to watch this movie now, just out of the curiosity of how bad the CG is in it.
Horrible.
I was just like, that movie, I don't care. And I never watched Black Adam. I don't care. I'm like, as soon as I found out that he was a hero, I'm like, this is not who Black. I was like, people were sharing around this from the Flash animated movie. He like literally broke a woman's neck in front of him because like, he was like, I'm going to break this woman's unless you say the word to turn back into the kid. And then he did, and he was right up on him, choking out Billy Madison. I'm like, that's Black Adam. Like, he's not a hero, he's a villain. That The Rock couldn't have him play a villain. Like, and it's like, I don't like when actors can determine.
You see,
don't make a movie unless you're going to follow the source material.
Yes, I liked Black Adam, but I do agree they should have, and it would have been a different perspective and better if they would have went the villain round, right? Where they're following the villain, but the heroes are the secondary character,
Yes, it would have been an interesting, and The Rock playing someone who's a villain. He would be so cool if he was being villainous. Like, imagine this big Titan dude acting like an asshole. Like, it'd be amazing. But anyway, I think it's a missed opportunity. And then like, I feel like it's just all the old guard of Snyder, like, that his universe, and that's why I don't want to support these films. Like, I want this to die and go away. I want to forget that it ever happened, and like, move forward, and let's have some hope in DC again. Like, except for the Suicide Squad. Again, James Gunn, who cares about comics. I hated that film when I first saw it because they killed all those people at the start. But then when I watched it again,
you enjoyed it more, right?
I enjoyed it way more because I was like, it's okay. I get it. They're killed because they're the Suicide. It makes sense. Like I think like Captain Boomerang dying. I'm like they've killed major characters that are in the Suicide Squad forever. That's what was my big beef with it. I'm like, but James Gunn saw where the universe was going, and like he was like, I'm gonna wipe him out. But yeah, it's a lot more fun the second time out.
And I agree with you too, right? Because I love my superhero movies. I don't want them to die. I want them to get better. But the best movie I seen this year was Beekeeper. That shit was lit. You know what I mean?
And that was it's a generic Jason Statham film, right? But the concept was really cool. I liked the concept. And like he was just kicking ass. That was like it was great. It was a good fighting. It was like a movie where he just kicked ass. It was like that's the movie you're going to see when you see a Jason Statham film. You know that he's just going to kick ass. That's what he does.
Jack Black was robbed.
I think he was robbed. The Mario movie was pretty fun. It was a fun
movie. The Mario movie was good too. You know what I mean? So, and I'm right there with you, man. I'm like, listen, I like the superhero movies, but I haven't seen the Bob Marley movie yet. But I'm definitely gonna see that. You know what I mean? Different genres and stuff like that. That's can't always be saturated with superhero movies. And I said, I know there's a lot of Snyder hate, but I love his special effects. The slow motion to me always fire, especially if it's a hard movie. I would love to see Snyder do a Mortal Kombat movie. See, I don't mind the slow motion either. I just think he does it too much, right?
It's Rebel Moon. If you cut the slow motion out of that movie, it's like half the film is gone. Like
I fucking hated Rebel Moon. I hated that movie.
It's so bad.
I hated that movie.
Special effects. I'm sorry, Danny. I have to disagree respectfully. His special effects are red hue or orange hue and blue hue. That's his special effects. Like that's his lighting. That's his lighting in every like Rebel Moon. It's blue and orange hue. That's what he does. In Justice League, blue and orange hue. Like he doesn't. He got it from 300, which I actually like 300. Like one of my favorite films ever is The Watchmen, which is a Snyder film. Like I love that film and. Like it's a Snyder film, but I think he's rested on the same thing over and over again. I love 300. Yeah, I love that film. Yeah, I do like it. But
300 is good. Not one of my favorites. Watchmen, you guys already know I say it all the time. I can't stand that fucking movie. I hate it. But I do like Zack Snyder's Justice League. I like it. I know you guys don't like it, but I like it.
I like Justice League more. And the reason why I like Justice League more is because the characters make sense more in that. Like Joss Whedon actually made the Justice League a little bit fun. Like it's not gloomy and death. Like, and I feel like that's where he was going with it. So I respect Josh trying to save that movie, which is what Warner Brothers got him in to do. And I feel like Aquaman and Wonder Woman and The Flash are way better in Justice League than they are in the Justice League. My opinion on that, especially.
I get you. Me personally, see, I don't hate Justice League. I just feel like it's like a convoluted mess of a movie. You know what I mean? Like you could tell the two different tones and stuff like that.
Yeah, the tone is different.
I think that's the biggest issue with it, right? I don't hate it, but I do think because Zack Snyder's Justice League has a more coherent tone to it. You know what I mean? I like the way Steppenwolf looks better. I even think his motivation is a little bit better. You get more explanation as to why he's really doing what he's doing. So I like that stuff. I like it better. You know what I mean? But I understand people talk about the slow motion, the 4-hour runtime. I get it. You know what I mean?
Every time Wonder Woman's on screen, there's women screaming in the background instead of her actual theme music.
or the fucking where Aquaman's walking in and they're
singing they're chanting.
Right? Yeah.
And he says Bruce Wayne like 1,000 times in front of these people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of funny things in those movies. Yeah. Weird tones, like weird character motivations and stuff like for me. But yeah, it's that whole period of DC is it's a mess. It's gone though. Yeah, thank goodness. Like someone at the helm that actually cared. And the thing I like about James Gunn movies as well is he advertises local comic book stores at the end of the movie or go buy a comic. Like he wants to support where these stories come from. And I think that's really, I know Mike is about that. But like I really like that he does that because he wants to support where these characters come from, because these movies wouldn't exist without the comics that have been around for 50 years, you know, like that's important to me as well. I think we need to support, because there's the people that got into nerd culture now that are like, yeah, I love the Avengers, I love this stuff, and they were the people beating kids up for liking comics when they were in, like, you know, in school. It's like, and now they're turning around going, I love the. It's like I remember when I watched the Avengers in the cinema, and Thanos appeared at the end, and everyone's like, "Oh!" and I'm like, half of you don't know who this person is. Probably three-quarters of you don't know who that guy is. Like, you don't even know what he means by courting death, why he smiles. You don't know that he loves death, and death's a real person in like the comic universe. Like, I was just like, I was like, you don't know this, but it was just funny to watch. Like, people then either went and bought comics or did Wikipedia and learnt about these characters that people have been reading about for 50 years, and the Infinity Saga and all the rest of it. Like, I think in a way they have done really well for comics, but in another way they haven't. And I feel like the more directors try to do their own vision, like the writer admitting for WandaVision that she'd never read any of the comics for House of M, like that she didn't even know who Mephisto was. Like, I know LDG is raging, right? If he's watching, he's like, he's going at his computer screen, like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm with him. When I read that, I was like, what an idiot! Like, go read the source material before you write this show. Like, it's like that annoys me when Disney hires people who have they just hire them because of, it's either, and this is true, diversity, or because they think that they've written really well on another thing, but they have no concept of the characters that they're writing, like, for, and they just write this trash. To be fair, WandaVision has one of the greatest scenes in it, in Marvel, for me, is when Wanda is talking to Vision, and Vision talks about, like, what is love, what is grief, but love, what is it? What is grief but love continuing, or love something, love,
don't know the
persevering, or whatever, whatever it is, but like, that's a really heartfelt scene in that show. But like, they did all those little nuggets, they put the alternate, you know, Quicksilver in there from the Sony, like, not Sony, from the Fox
X-Men universe,
like
then
they did all these. Yeah, and then, like, they said there's a big cameo coming, like, but all the stars like, there's a big cameo coming, etc., etc. That's right. They didn't know they should have hired people that did Boston Legal. Like, that's who they should have hired for She-Hulk, because it would have been interesting there. Vito even said this. Like, they should have done like they could have had this underarching arc of her primary villain, but then what they could have had is they could have had court of the week where she's defending superheroes or supervillains or whatever, and made that a comedy, because that would have been a way more interesting show, you know, because they could have introduced all these other Marvel characters we'd never seen before, these B-list characters, villains or heroes, and made it really interesting. Instead, they decided to do, to Dylan's delight, twerking with me, because
oh my god. Oh my god.
He made a video about that, still on his channel. Shout out to the Philosophical Pickle, because that was a fire video. Very, very funny.
Like, okay, I get it, she twerks, right? But she also raps. Why couldn't she have did a little rap show or something like that? Why did it have to be the fucking twerking? You know what I mean? Like, bro, it was really ridiculous.
And then they wrote, like, her jumping out of the Disney Plus screen. I'm like, she's more powerful than like any other character in all of, like, and Mike says to me, she does that in the comics. She talks to the writers and stuff. I'm like, and my big critique is, okay, well, if you're going to write her for a TV that's part of the MCU universe, you have to change certain things about her to have that format work. Deadpool did it really well, where he never jumps out of it. He never changes reality. Like, he just talks to the audience and knows the audience is there. You can do fourth wall breaking without changing reality. And that end episode, because I watched the last, I didn't care about the story, so I watched the last episode where she talks to basically Kevin Feige as a robot. And the writers put themselves in their own show. Like, horrible. It's just, I don't. That's why I quit. Like, Hawkeye, got me close because I was like, that show is really bad, and and then I was like, I'm ready. And then She-Hulk, I think it was the first episode when she compared her plight as a female to him being the Hulk and wanting to kill himself in the Avengers. He talks about putting a bullet in his she tried to compare their suffering, and I'm like, no, guys, you've written the wrong character here. Like,
and then she gets the power, and she just knows how to do everything right away. I'm like, really? Like, really? This is what we're doing here? She bested fucking Hulk in this shit, and I'm like, this is what we're doing here? No. But I always said MCU has fucked up the Hulk from after Avengers.
They didn't know what to do with him. Character. Yeah, after Avengers, they didn't know what to do with him because he's too powerful, and that's why he's put away for Infinity War and Endgame. Because they don't know what to do because he could take on Thanos like hand to hand, you know. So they had to have him be taken out. And so I don't know, like, the movie's coming out this year. I'm excited. I'm actually excited for this year of movies. So like that's why it kind of inspired me. I'm like, I could do reviews and stuff, video reviews and stuff. That's something that I could do. Like, because I know that or get someone on that, you know, also enjoyed or has a contrary view. I don't know, but like, I'm looking forward to like this year. Like I'm looking forward to this new Ghostbusters movie. It comes out like I think next week. Because I liked Afterlife a lot compared to 2016. And like they really respected the original characters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like.
And the new one looks fire.
Yeah, that new one is next week. Yeah. It looks there.
Oh, it's next week?
It comes out here. It comes out on the 21st or something.
Okay, so, I'm going to see that.
Yeah, I'm going to see it with the girlfriend, like, because she's really into it. She's really into Afterlife as well. So, and the original Ghostbusters. So, it's like that's coming out. There's like, there's a few movies coming out that I'm really, I can't name off the top of my head, but I'm really excited. And they're not comic book films. So that's like something interesting this year. I'm more excited for other things.
I think Deadpool is the only comic book movie we're getting.
Yeah, that comes out 5 days before my birthday. I'm really excited for that. Just because him and Cable are really funny, like in the comics, and they kind of translated that. I think they did that really well in Deadpool 2. With Josh Brolin, he was really good as the straight. You're an idiot. You're like all the insults he was throwing his way. And then like I'm really looking forward to Hugh Jackman because Logan was a good send off for Wolverine. I recently showed it to my best friend. He'd never seen it. He stayed away from it. And he's like, let's watch it. And I was like, watch it. And he was not expecting to get emotional at the end. And like it got him. Like when she did the X, that got him. And I was like, because Wolverine's never been his favorite character in the X-Men, and neither have me. But like what got me, because I have a daughter, was like when he's like, don't be what they made you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that stuff really hits home. Such a really well done movie.
And I thought I was gonna hate that movie when I was like, this is gonna be like, it looked like the commercial looked like some Thelma and Louise type of road trip movie. This movie is gonna be garbage. And then when I seen it, I was like, yo, it was one of the best. Yeah, you know. Yeah, what I mean?
It's probably the best X-Men film. Best X-Men series film that they had, because to be fair, there's only 2 X-Men in it. But like, so I'm really looking forward to, because they're good friends in real life. So I'm looking forward to that translating to screen. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds like giving each other shit in the movie. Finally, and he's got the suit. Finally, he's wearing his 80s suits, man. Like they're giving us. Ryan knows like what the people want. Like to be fair, I feel like the MCU, whoever's like creative director of that, they need to hire him for the X-Men, like because I feel like he knows what people want to see, like out of the X-Men. Like I feel like, and it certainly wasn't that end credits scene in the Marvels. God, I watched that. I didn't watch the movie, but I watched that end credits scene. I'm like, Marvel trying to get people hyped about X-Men on this movie. Good work, guys, you're doing it. You're making it happen.
Absolutely, and I think that's what they need to do, right? And I said what they should do is, if they're going to do the multiverse stuff, they could start building the X-Men universe. You know what I mean? And then when you have Secret Wars, that's when everything gets messed up and combined together. Now you have mutants and the X-Men and Avengers together and stuff like that. I think they could do that. They could get away from the Marvel X-Men stuff. I'm sorry, Marvel, Captain America, all that stuff. Get away from that and give us a bunch of X-Men.
Get into X-Men. Let's go to X-Men. Yeah. Switch to a team, different team. Give us X-Men, the first team. Cyclops and Morph and all what they're trying to do now in X-Men 97, but not like what they're doing in X-Men 97. Give us actually the X-Men from the 80s. Give us those people. You can make it the topic about whatever you want. And to be fair, I think is his name Gustavo? No, that's the name of him in Breaking Bad. The guy that plays Gustavo. I think he'd make I think he'd make a better villain, to be honest, because he always typecast as a villain now, which is because he's a good villain. But I think he'd make a good Xavier. I think he could bring something to that role. I don't think Xavier's, if they don't base it in the time frame that they base it, because we're getting a little bit too far away from World War II, but I think Magneto is he's a Jew, so he has to look Jewish. I don't think you could do a black Magneto because he's linked to the whole. That's why he does his whole thing, the Holocaust. His whole motivation is about being brotherhood and all the rest of it. But yeah, I feel like if we update it and it's like the Afghani war, we could do other things. We could do that's his name. Yeah. He's a fire actor. He's so good.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we could do that, and I think there's no issue with that. I don't think there's any issue with changing races of anybody within a degree. Obviously, Storm still comes from Africa. You have to you can't be white. There's and Rogue is from the South, and she's white. I don't think I don't. Yeah, there's some characters I think you can race swap and others you can. If you wanted to do the diversity thing, I guess.
If you wanted to do Professor X, I think too. And I'm saying because they're talking about Denzel Washington as Magneto, right? If you're going to do that, you change Magneto's character, because now you would have to make it Civil War type of thing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I know
you have to make it about the Civil War,
right? Yeah. People won't like that, but I'm thinking, if they got Denzel Washington to do it, they might be able to get past that. You got a great actor.
Well, it's about oppression. X-Men has always been about oppression of a minority. Yeah. That's what it's about. So they could do it that way. And Denzel Washington is my favorite actor of all time. So if he were to play Magneto and they did that right, if they did it right, let me be clear,
absolutely.
He would be fire as Magneto. He would be he would be amazing as Magneto.
I agree.
Yeah, I can imagine him now. There's always a speech, Charles, to Esposito. It'd be amazing. Imagine that line coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, the two of them on screen together in some conflict shit, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be so good. But the usual suspects would come out.
Oh, dude, you'd have the G&Gs and all the rest of it going. Diversity is us. You'd have all that. I'm just wait for them to see if they do it right, guys. Morgan Freeman could do Professor X as well. Absolutely.
I think so too. Yeah.
But I feel people just it's the same thing happened with Heath Ledger, and I'm guilty of this. When they announced Heath Ledger as the Joker, I was like, what are they doing? This is it's ridiculous. I was like, this guy's gonna be terrible.
Garbage.
He's a romantic comedy actor. What are they doing? And it's give it a chance, guys, because Heath Ledger, that's his role. That's his life-defining role. And not just because he died afterwards and all the rest of it did he get an Oscar. That movie, that was the joke. It should have been called The Joker with Batman. That's what that movie should have been called. Because it was about him. Every time he was on screen, he stole the show. He was amazing. You have to give things a chance. Watch it, then judge it. Obviously you can have opinions on casting. I'm not sure about this Fantastic Four casting, to be honest. That's because I wanted John Krasinski to be Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm not sure about it. but I think there's a chance that like it'll be good,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna give it a shot. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go and watch it. I'm gonna see the trailer. Like it's like I'm gonna watch the trailers and I'm like when I watch like this is a perfect example. Of this is Argyle. That movie is getting so much hate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Dylan about it. I'm like, dude, that movie. I went to see that movie and I recognized what it was. It's a spoof on spy thrillers. That's what it
Right.
is. I love James Bond. I love that as misogynistic as he is. I love James Bond. I love James Bond movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I love spy. I love that in James Bond. This is what you get. You know what you're getting: cool cars, cool gadgets, and sexy women. That's what you're getting in James Bond. Like,
Absolutely.
and like some spy story beneath it. Like that's what you're getting. And when he puts it, that's why they always show the car off when it first comes on screen, because that car company has paid a lot of money for that car to be in the movie. Like,
Facts.
yeah. And it's like you know what you're getting. Like Argyle, I watched it. I laughed so hard in that film, and not because it was bad. It was just they knew what they were doing. Like it, and I enjoyed it. But a lot of people are like, "This is trash" compared to his other film with the director, And that's what Dylan said. He's like, "Oh, he's known for Kingsman. He's known for all these things." And I'm like, "But he did something different, and it's interesting. Like, just like you cannot like it. That's cool. But to be like, it's trash. It's well made. It's well acted. The CG is good. Like Sam Rockwell is amazing in it. Like as he is in most of the movies he's in. Like, just give it a chance. Like, yeah, don't like. I feel like when we critique things, we forget that stuff, and I think that's what Chris Stuckman said about why he wasn't going to critique Madam Web and shit all over it, and a lot of people attacked him for this, but his opinion's actually true. He was like, I know how, because he made his own film. He's like, I know how hard it is to make a film. I know how hard it is to shoot a film. I know how hard it is to get actors to do the thing. Like, I know how hard it is to do sound. He knows all of the process now. And it's like, if you don't like the story, that's cool. But a movie isn't shit because you didn't like the story. Like there's a lot of things in it that come together to make a movie. If they're all garbage, then yeah, it's trash. Like Love and Thunder, terrible story, terrible characters, terrible directing, terrible CGI, like terrible music choices, terrible jokes. Like there's nothing redeemable about Love and Thunder. It's terrible. Like it is actually a terrible film. Whereas Zack Snyder's Justice League, even though I don't like that film, it's not terribly shot. The acting is what it is. Like they've got a direction that they're going. I don't like the character direction, but the acting is good. Like Ben Affleck is acting well. Like so is Henry Cavill. So is the model that they picked to play Wonder Woman. Like I am with Dylan. I don't think she's a good Wonder Woman because she's literally a model. Like but like I can agree with Danny. Like the CGI isn't bad in that film. Like it's overused, but it's not bad. Like so it's like it's not trash.
Trash, right?
Even though I hate it. I hate that film, and I can say that about it. I hate what it did to DC characters because of my love of DC characters. I love DC more than Marvel. Like, and what they've done to these characters, I hate. Like the movie isn't trash. Like because I hate it. Like and so that's the nuance I think of what we critique. It's like Quantum Mania, like half that film. I love when Hank Pym comes over the thing with all of those ants that have built a society, like a tech society. That is quintessential Ant-Man. A lot of people hate that because it's shit. I'm like, this is Ant-Man. You're watching an Ant-Man film. This is what Ant-Man does. Like, read a comic about Ant-Man. This is what he does. Like, but like, I hate that film because Ant-Man beats like Kang, a dude wearing a suit that goes small, beats your big bad. It's like imagine if Black Widow punched Thanos in the face in Avengers. This is what we're dealing with in that movie. And it's like, yeah, it's like you can't. That doesn't make sense. Like you're having the big bad be beaten up by a low tier Avenger. Like it's like, yeah, it like that's what I don't like about that film. And now we don't have to worry about it anymore because he's
gone.
Films. Yeah. He's dead. So good luck with that announcement this year. Whenever they do Comic-Con, like, be interested to see how the slates change for Marvel.
I got some pushback though. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think he really got beat because if you watch the fight, he is beating the shit out of Sam. Now, yes, at the end of the movie, Ant-Man, at the end of the movie, yes, they come in, they supposedly kill him. I don't think he was dead anyways, right? Yeah. But I think he whoops his ass in that fight. I don't think he actually
does kick the crap out of him, and Ant-Man obviously outsmarts him by kicking him into the portal,
right?
Portal device thing. He does beat him. Like he doesn't beat him up, but he beats Kang. Like, this is a guy that's been there for billions of years in the multiverse, plotting his revenge, and he beats him. And I'm like, you know, like something I really loved about that was when he picked his daughter up, and he's like, I will kill her again and again.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That was awesome. I was like, this is a villain. I'm behind this. This is a villain we need. This is what the MCU needs. And then he's beat it at the end. I'm like, what have you done?
So, I also have another theory about that too. Is because there's one scene where he talks about seeing every future, right? He's like, I've seen every future. So I think he knew what was going to happen and it was supposed to make him stronger. That's why. But of course, we're not going to get that or know if that's where they were going, right? But I think
that's Stadium of Kangs is somewhere else now. It's off in the universe.
Well, I won't spoil it, but Loki kind of has a little thing at the end about that.
So, do they rewrite history through Loki? Do they like to try and stop?
They don't really rewrite it, but they kind of diminish the Kangs in it. You know what I mean?
They wrote it into the show because they saw the way the Kang was going. Yeah, okay. I see.
Yeah. So they wrote it in the show just in case, right? And they did it in a way where, well, if he gets off, we could just say certain things, you know what I mean? But if he does get off, then this is how we can interpret it. So they did it in a way where you could have two different interpretations of what happens. So they knew what they were doing, you know?
Yeah, I guess they hedge their bets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is good. Like, I guess they're trying to hedge their bets so they don't they don't like put too much into one basket, I guess, because they didn't know what was going to happen with Jonathan Majors at the time, and now they do. So they're like, we can deal with this now through Loki. We'll reference that at some point again. They'll reference that to push away the Kang idea. But it'd be interesting to see what they announce at Comic-Con, if they announce anything at all. I think we're going to get a trailer, maybe for Superman at Comic-Con, like a teaser for DC, and I'm excited for that. I'm so excited for that. Like, I hope they use the original score.
Yeah, me too. At least once in the movie.
Yeah, in the
you know what I mean?
So they kind of did it a little bit. There's a little part of it in one of Zack Snyder's film. They have like they do that little bit, and I was like, and it gave me goosebumps. I was like, and to be fair, I love Hans Zimmer's score in Man of Steel. Like, and I've come a little bit around to Nerman's opinion on that film. It's not. I watched it again without goggles. It's not a good film. It's not good. There's parts of it that I really love. I love the first flight scene. I love Jor-El speaking, like, you know, they'll just stumble and fall, but it's like the hope of Superman is in that film. That's what I love the most about it, is like he's the hope of the world, basically. And then he turns into nihilistic and BVS. So, you know, just
pausing a fight to kiss his girl, you know what I mean? World's in shambles. Hey, let me get this kiss in
He's
here,
like,
though.
I'm gonna float down. It's like it's a big flood, and people are on their roof going, "Please save me!" And he's like, like floating in the sky. I'm looking forward to fun, like, Boy Scout Superman saving people. Like, something I would say is, I watched the first season of Superman and Lois. I haven't watched anything of it more. But that's the Superman that we need, like that kind of Superman.
You gotta catch up on that shit.
Yeah, Mike keeps telling me Mike loves that show, man. Like, it's the first CW show that he's been raving about. Like, except for the first 2 seasons of The Flash, and then it goes off the rails.
Right.
Like, the first 2 seasons of The Flash are fire. But yeah, like, he's like, you need to watch that, because I remember, like, the first, when he comes down in his original suit from the comics, in the first scene, and he lifts the beetle, car, like, which is from the Action 1 comic, like, which I have over here somewhere. And he and then he's like, "That's a nice cape," and he's like, "Yeah, thanks, my mom made it for him." I'm like, "Yes, yes, this is Superman." Like, I was like, "Yeah," but so I'm excited to watch that. watch that thing. I know that old mate in the suit is Iron Superman, so it's like yeah.
And
Yeah.
that last season we just had.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. Oh my lord! I'm not even gonna spoil it. It is wicked what they did in that season. You know what I mean? And no, I'm not gonna say anything because I want you to be surprised when you watch it, right? So if anybody else watch it, yeah. But definitely catch it, right? Because and I think watch seasons 2, 3, and 4, you get the full context because it's really well done. It's one of those shows where because it's done after the next season, right? And it's just like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why are you gonna end this show? It's so good. So
so
he said Craig Daniels, as they asked Craig Daniels to be Magneto.
Oh, and Daniel Craig could do
Daniel Craig,
yeah, he could do a good Magneto.
I think he'd be fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think he'd be fine.
There's a lot of people that could do stuff like as those characters. I think they bring different things to the role. Yeah.
If you're going with the because sometimes in the cartoon, like Magneto's really buffed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you want to go with that type of Magneto, give him the long white hair.
Yes, the white hair.
Yeah,
please give him the long white hair.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I'm just thinking now. Sorry, Denzel Washington's in my mind. Imagine him with the long white hair.
White hair.
Like,
yeah.
Under the man.
It'd be fire.
It'd be fire. It'd be so good if they do it well. If they do it like Civil War or if he's part of, I know what's that? It was those riots that happened it was not riots. It was like I can't remember it. It starts with, I think it's like the town starts with T. It was like where they had this big
the Tulsa. Yeah.
Yes, if it was like the Tulsa, like if they had him as a kid in that. Yeah, they could do it really well. Like it's all the same concept. It's like the same concept. It's like slavery and like the whole it's like not comparing the two travesty.
But
it's like a way for him to have the motivations that Magneto has.
Absolutely.
Like as a mutant. Like you Homo sapiens and your guns. Like he'd be fire. He'd be really good.
He would kill it, man.
Denzel Washington, Esposito, opposite each other. Fire.
Having that dialogue, you know what I mean?
The dialogue between them, how they speak.
Facts.
Seriously and dramatically.
Yeah. We gotta. The only thing is, and I kind of passed the quote a bit, but he said he didn't want to play Professor X in a wheelchair. I don't want them to do that. He has to be in his wheelchair.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's informs Professor X. Because, like they did it in First Class. They did it that he was shot because but in the comics, it's the Vietnam War that they're both in, and he protects Magneto and gets shot. Paralyzed. And that's why Magneto won't kill him because they're best friends.
He saved his life.
That's I'll give First Class this. It's my second favorite X-Men movie, and the reason why is because they get Magneto and Xavier. Fassbender and McAvoy, they get them right. Like their relationship is like the key. That's the center of X-Men. If you don't get Magneto and Xavier right, it doesn't work. That's why like the chess scene in X-Men 2 where they're sitting and Xavier visits him in his plastic prison all the time. That scene between them, fire. Like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, like fire. Like you get two massive beasts of like acting on the screen, like Esposito and Denzel Washington. That dialogue would be incredible.
Absolutely.
Like the writing is really well done. The writing, it'd be incredible acting.
But that's what I'm saying. We gotta get them back on track with the good writing and the good stories. That's what
they need to hire writers that care, man. Like that's what DC's done. They're like, I'm gonna hire James Gunn because he cares about the comics. Like he cares about these characters. He's literally done hits in both of these cinematic worlds now. Like, and so they're like, he's finished with Guardians, he's finished with MCU. Like, let's get him to do like DC creative direction, like this guy that cares about these characters. And I'm like, finally, because if you hadn't seen it, there's that really famous. Zack Snyder was on
Joe Rogan.
Oh mate, yeah. Did you see what he talked about on that?
Yeah.
I'm just like, thank God this guy's not in DC anymore. Thank the maker. Like what he said about Batman, I just wanted to
Yes.
make him. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like you,
Mm-hmm.
like go read the Killing Joke. You like not you. Sorry, go read Death in the Family. Go read that one comic, and you'll know that Batman
Understand.
doesn't kill.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
even though he wants to murder the Joker, he almost kills the Joker. The Joker's laughing the whole time because he thinks he's got him to snap. He's finally beat him. The whole point of the Joker is to lure Batman into killing somebody. Like that's
Yes.
his whole thing. And at least Nolan in The Dark Knight gets that right. That's what he says at the end. He's like, "You truly are incorruptible." Like,
Mm-hmm.
because that's Joker's trying to corrupt him. The entire movie, he wants to corrupt Batman. Like, he wants to corrupt Bruce Wayne, and he doesn't get it at the end. Like, he doesn't kill him. And it's like the same with Death in the Family. And that's the point of Batman and Joker. Why Joker always lures him, and Batman will never kill him. Like, because if Batman was going to kill anybody, he'd kill the Joker. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
for
like,
sure.
yeah, and it's like he almost does when he kills Jason Todd. Like, it's like, it's like he doesn't. And it's like to say that you were like, I want to do the opposite of what Warner Brothers is telling me to do. The people that own the DC rights, it's like you should never have ever touched a DC film, not ever.
And you see,
no respect for the character, like none at all.
And I agree with you. I do. Like, let's say he did do that, right? But Batman would have to learn that lesson. Okay, I made a mistake, whatever, and that's the kind of growth of his character. But the way he
do
made
it that
sound
way,
like,
yes,
like he just
I'll never
didn't
kill
care,
again.
like, right,
or he accidentally kills a criminal by beating on him too hard or something. Like
exactly,
do that again. But like, him branding people so they can be executed in jail. Like, although that came out that it was like Lex Luthor doing that. Like, it's convoluted 21-point like plan to get. All he could have done is just kidnap Martha right at the start and say, "Hey, go kill Batman. Go fight Batman." Like that's all Lex had to do. This bullet plot, all this stupid crap. Like he could have just kidnapped Martha and gone, "I've got your mom. Go fight Batman." Like
100%, 100%, and the Lex
BVS
Luthor was
so bad.
horrible Lex Luthor choice. So bad, you know what I mean?
Do you want a lolly?
You know what I mean? It could have been so much better. They just convoluted with so much stuff they didn't need to have. Shit. The guy that killed Superman. His name's blowing my mind right now. God damn.
Oh, Cavill.
No, the guy that killed Superman.
You mean Zombie Zod?
Yeah,
Zombie Zod. Yeah.
Doomsday,
they made him,
that's it.
They call him Doomsday, but he's Zombie Zod.
They didn't call him.
Like,
Yeah.
Blood of my blood.
Didn't need to have that. Didn't even matter.
Yeah.
And then you get Krypton, who does him way better. You know what I mean? The TV show did Doomsday way better than Zack Snyder did.
Well, dude, the Doomsday, and a lot of people don't like this, but Smallville, like Tom Welling was like my Superman in my young hour. Like he's not Superman ever until the last episode, but like when he does the chest opening, because it was about Smallville, but that guy was like my Clark Kent, and he did him really well. And I'll tell you what, Rosenbaum played the best Lex Luthor I've seen since the original Superman film. He was so good. Like the end when he's like, "You don't get it, Clark. I am the villain of the story." Like, and it's just like, whoa. If they got him back to play Lex Luthor in the Superman film, like, of course they've already cast everybody, but if they cast him, I would just be like, yes, I'd be on board right away.
I'm gonna tell you something though. The Lex in Superman and Lois kind of gives him a run for his money. He's really good too. I was like, oh my, really good. And it's Abraham from the Walking Dead. You ever seen The Walking Dead? Yeah, remember Abraham? Yeah. He's playing Lex Luthor in the.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Yeah. Easy
does a really he's bald. He's bald. He's smart. You know what I mean? He does some shit in that where I was like, okay, this is a good Lex.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? He's a bit of a beefy guy. Like, but Lex in the animated shows is kind of beefy too when he gets in that like kryptonite suit and stuff.
So you would definitely like it. The first comic book, I think it's implied that Batman kills someone, but doesn't actually show it. But other than that, he doesn't kill. Right. Yeah. So that's the thing. If you want to go with that and say he does kill somebody, but he learns from it to where he's never going to kill again, that's acceptable. You know what I mean? That makes sense.
But his response was like, he's like, "Do you know what I wanted to do?" He was like saying it with glee. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, I hate you even more now. Like, I hate you.
Mhm,
Like, I was like,
mhm.
I really, really was like, I saw that video. I'm like, I hate this guy more now. Like, he's made me hate him more. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm like, you just don't have any respect. Nihilistic Superman and a Batman that kills. Like, it's just like the opposite of their characters in every
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Like, what are you
Mhm,
doing? Like, yeah,
mhm.
what if the world doesn't need Superman? Lois? What if it's just like, bro, like Superman's almost crying on screen. What is this? Like
Facts. And
he knows what he's got to do. He goes to the solitude. He goes into solitude. He goes into the fortress of solitude to learn from his father how to be Superman because
mhm,
his father sent him here there to be the light of the world, to be hope, like and
mhm.
justice. Like,
I feel you, brother. I trust me. I know. The like issues with those movies, like the action. Zack Snyder is good with that. You know what I mean?
that's all
Action
he's good
fight
at.
stuff.
He's only good at action. All
Exactly.
he's good at. Yeah. Yeah.
Because Rebel Moon, people, these guys were all, oh, Rebel Moon's good, and
It's
they're
gonna be Star
crickets
Wars.
now.
It's gonna be a new
Yeah, they
Star
are.
Wars. I tell you what, the new Star Wars is. It's Dune, everyone. That's what the new Star Wars is, and the money's proving it. People are eating that movie up, Dune 2.
Mhm,
And like, this is what happens when you don't put it on streaming, Warner Brothers. You don't undercut your box office because look at what the money that Dune 2 is making. Like,
mhm.
obviously, it's hit a thing with the audiences. That's the Star Wars of this generation. Like, it's an
I haven't seen it
experience.
yet. I haven't seen Dune
Yeah.
2,
Did you like
but I
Dune
was.
1?
No, I wasn't a fan of Dune 1.
Yeah, so you're not gonna like Dune 2 because it gets way more into the lore, man. It's like way
Mhm.
more lore specific. But if you're into if do you like Blade Runner?
I love Blade Runner. The first one, to the last one. No,
So
I didn't
like
like
Blade Runner is what I test people if I'm like it's what I tested my girlfriend with. I'm like, because she's never seen it. I'm like, let's watch Blade Runner. And I was like, this is
Mhm,
to test to see if she's into highbrow, slow burn sci-fi, right? Where it
mhm.
questions humanity, if a machine can have a soul, blah blah blah, right? And she was like, I love that movie. And I'm like, I have a winner. Like I was like, now we can watch Dune Part 1. Let's see what she was like. She paused at halfway. She's like, so just so I'm understanding, this is what's happening. And she's like explaining the law to me. And I'm like, yes, we have a winner. Like, so like I was like, when we saw Dune 2 at the thing, she didn't like Dune 2 as much as Dune 1 because
Mhm,
Dune 2 gets more into like the prophecy stuff and trades and stuff. But people who are fans of the book, I like will love this film. But yeah, it's just showing that like you can do highbrow science fiction and it makes money. Like,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think it's really cool that like you've got those kinds of genres happening at the cinema, and it's not just
Mhm,
all superhero films or some biopic, because that's all we were getting for there, like biopics and
mhm,
Superman film, like superhero films and like in between maybe a comedy that didn't do
mhm.
well, but like or some
And,
Blumhouse
and
horror.
and even though we got these kind of things, they were getting pushed to the back because of
Because of
the
the tent
superhero
poles. Yeah,
movies.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
And I
Right.
think
So,
it's actually a good thing in a way that Marvel has hired the writers they have because now they're failing. They have to take a step back and go, hang on,
mhm,
maybe we need to actually hire people that care, like DC's done. Because that's
mhm.
why I have so much hope in Superman because James Gunn cares. Like, I mean, him and his brother wrote that Brightburn. Have you seen that?
Absolutely.
That's fire. That's
Absolutely.
fire. What a
Yeah, yeah.
Superman.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
like
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
Red Sun. Like it's kind of
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
Red Sun. Like
Yeah, yeah.
the
Brightburn is
alternate
amazing.
history. It's like I'm like,
Mhm,
this is if Superman was a psycho. I'm like,
mhm.
this is great. Like this is what
Yes.
Superman. Like this is the kind of.
Yes.
It was like this is great. This is if Zack Snyder was going to direct a on your head Superman film, direct something like that, like or Red
Yeah.
Sun or something where you can
Mhm.
make Superman a psychopath,
Right.
like a commie or whatever. You know, you can make him evil. Like you just were trying to make someone who is pure good evil, like or
Mhm.
not or unsure of himself. Like, and you have like, oh mate, don't save me, don't do it, son. Don't save me from the tornado, even though you can move
You
faster
know
than
what
the
I mean?
like.
No one would have seen
I
him.
was
No one would have seen him. You gotta.
and like it took away the whole point of like so like they tried to do the same thing. I'm like, but the big thing about Kent is like he dies of a heart attack and it teaches
Yes.
Clark that he can't save everyone.
Mhm.
Like that humans are frail. Like that's the
Mhm.
idea behind it. And to have him die in like some senseless
I agree.
accident because he saves a dog. It just
Mhm.
and then like when he
Made no
says
sense.
maybe you shouldn't have saved the busload of children. Like
Mhm.
Kent would never say that to Clark. Like
Absolutely not.
never say
Absolutely
that to
not.
him.
Yeah,
Like this
absolutely
is
not.
this is
Yeah.
just the character stuff that in these movies that Zach just fundamentally had no understanding of. And yeah, it's really sad like how
Mhm.
DC turned
And
out. But yeah, I'm really excited for the Superman film. I don't are they doing like Clark's parents? Are they doing Martha and that? I don't know if they've casted him.
I don't think they casted him either.
Yeah.
Because
So I
I
think they're
heard
just doing it him as Superman
yeah,
in Metropolis, which is
I heard it's
okay.
3 years after him being Superman.
Okay, cool.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
so it's early days, which is good,
So we'll
that's
still have
fine.
Martha. Maybe in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
sequel we'll have Martha. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. I think to be fair, I think the casting choices have all been good in those Zack
Mhm.
Snyder films. They were
Yeah,
all
yeah.
good. It was just the
Yeah, yeah.
writing was bad for these
Absolutely,
characters. Yeah.
100%. And I
Like, Lawrence
think that's why
Fishburne was great as Barry White. He was really, really
yes.
good. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like they had really big actors in these films. It's just the writing for these characters and
Mhm.
motivations.
Henry Cavill is like
He was a
people's
great
quintessential
Superman.
Superman.
He was so
Absolutely.
great. Yeah.
100%.
Like when he'd
100%.
smile or like
Mhm.
when he got up in Man of Steel and he just broke the things. He's like, I can see all of you behind the screen. Like, you're not
Mhm.
going to be able to contain me, but I'm not here to hurt you. Like, I was like, there were
Exactly.
moments in that movie where he was Superman. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there was just other moments where he decided Lois is falling to her death in a pod, and he has a combo with his holographic dad, and then floats out
Mhm.
like Jesus into
Yeah,
space
yeah,
instead of just
yeah.
going bam like straight
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he only rescues her just in
Mhm.
time because he does this Jesus thing in front of the sun.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, Zach,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
get it. He's
Mhm.
Jesus. You don't have to show us
Mhm.
1,000 times in the movies of him on the cross. Like, yeah, it was just really, just really
Mhm.
bad stuff like
Ben
that.
Affleck was a good Batman,
He
like,
was a good Batman. I agree.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
a lot of people shit on that choice at the beginning, and I'm like, "Listen, I know you guys are shitting on it because of Daredevil and stuff like that, but I was like you, give it a chance,
Yeah,
right?"
give it a chance.
And I remember I had just seen, like, Argo. I've seen Argo, like, and I thought Argo was amazing. I thought he did really good
It's an
that
Academy
movie.
Award-winning movie for a reason.
Right.
It's a great film. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm like, give him a chance, you know
But
what I
DC
mean?
screwed him over too because they're like, write
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Batman film. Like, we're gonna have you
Mhm.
start it, and they're like, no, we're not gonna do that now. Yes, we are. No, we're not.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Warner Brothers is one of the worst production companies to exist.
Absolutely.
Like, they've made
Absolutely.
so many bad errors, like in judgment.
Absolutely.
With
And then
everything
giving
they've
us Morbius and Madam Web and like, who cares? You know what I mean? Now,
Yeah.
I'll admit that Craven has me interested. It looks kind of cool. You know what I mean? But I understand, like, you're having all these Spider-Man villains and no Spider-Man.
Why? Yeah, they come because of Spider-Man. Madam Web is a multiverse character.
Mhm.
Like, she's an old lady that sits in a chair on a web
Right.
and talks to Spider-Man in visions. Like,
Mhm.
what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
where's
Yeah, it
Tom
made no
Holland?
sense.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, the choices made no sense. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
But yeah, they're doing these things, and it's just like you're putting money into these films that are not going to make any money. Do you not see your bad decisions? The only reason why Venom made money is because of Tom Hardy.
Mhm.
Because Tom Hardy acted so well in it, and he made it goofy and funny, and like the symbiote was like punching him and talking to him. Like, they should have done it. They should have done. But I know that Tom Welling never wanted to be in the suit. That's why they
Yeah.
never showed him in the
Did the
suit.
suit, yeah.
He had like his spray painted. He ran around in the red jacket and the blue shirt, and he was called the Blur, and he kind of looked like Superman, like running through the city. But that's as far as they like. He had the emblem on his chest. Like, that's as far as they got with him in the suit ever. Like, because he never wanted to wear the suit. It was always about Clark growing up to become Superman, even though they did the
Right.
Justice Society and everything in that show. Like, they had Doomsday appear in that show, played by Whitaker. That's his name. The guy that voices Darth Maul in the Clone Wars, and
Oh, okay,
yeah, that guy. Sam Whitaker.
Yeah.
Sam Whitaker. Yeah, I can't remember how to pronounce his last name, but yeah, he was Doomsday in the show. So like, yeah, Affleck looked beefy. I liked the modulation was way better than tell me where he is.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
the bail. Like, why they didn't
Yeah.
like I did do a practical. Like, I need my voice to be modular. Morgan Freeman. Like it's like, give me a. Like, we've developed this for like spies, like in the field. Like, give us a throwaway line, give us a modular thing he stuck inside the cow. It would have been like just a little bit like Nolan, just a little bit, like that would have made it realistic, and it would have been saved his voice because you wouldn't have got that terrible like, tell me
horrible garbage. I'll never forget, man, when I first seen the trailer for the Batman Begins. I was like, oh, this was pretty good. And then Batman right at the end, he says, I'm Batman. And I'm like, what the fuck?
That was bad.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, and here's the thing: Batman Begins was good. It got worse. Like, when he talked to like Gordon in Batman Begins, he wasn't doing it as much. Like, and like even when he talked to Katie Holmes' character in the subway, he wasn't. He was like, "This will help." Like, he didn't really do the full thing that he did in Dark Knight. And Batman Begins is still my favorite Batman film ever. Like, it's my Batman film. Batman '89. Batman Returns, okay. Batman Returns is good, but Batman Begins is my favorite Batman film. Like,
I got you.
Yeah, I just love that film. Yeah. I love everything, and like when he does that whole backup, and like when that's so Batman. It's so Batman the animated series as well, which I love. When he flies down with all the bats swinging around, and he just lands, and his cape's like I was just like, this is Batman. Like, this is Batman on screen.
See? I'm still with Mike on the Nolan movies, right? So, and I don't ask you, what did you think of The Batman?
So listen, I hated it. Not hated it. I didn't like it when I first watched it. I was like, this is too long.
You're gonna like it.
but then I watched it again in a better frame of mind because I watched it like laying on my bed and half falling asleep. So that's not a good time to watch a movie ever. I watched it sitting up. I didn't watch it at the cinema. I watched it like on my TV when it's streaming. I will say it's a detective Batman film. I like that angle. I thought it was cool to do like a detective side of things. I thought that the Penguin was really good in it. Like, he was Colin Farrell is unrecognizable, which is great. Like, when you get so into a character that you don't know who the actor is when you look at him, that's amazing. The prosthetics are really good on him. I did like Twinkle Me Vampire as Bruce. He was good because he was in like that part where he puts everything out on the floor and he's trying to investigate, trying to think it out. That was very Batman before he has the Bat computer. I think it should have ended when he caught the Riddler. That whole last scene where they flood Gotham and that. Why will you build a city that has every bank is like water? If you just blew up those banks, there's a storm, it floods the city. Like,
right.
What is that story plot point? Matt Reeves, please help me. They just that end part, I get it. They had to do it because he was like, I know that
big action set piece.
They had to do that. But like at the end when he's saving that woman, he's like, I've realized that justice is about taking out punishment on villains. It's about saving people. Like, he actually has a conclusion, but they could have done that in a different way when they caught Riddler and put him in prison. Like, I just feel like they had that last bit and it was just too much, too long. Like, it could have been really cut down in that area. But I did like the Riddler, even though he kind of looked like a gimp. I miss Jim Carrey Riddler, to be honest. Like I was like, a little bit of pizzazz. Come on, guys. He wears a green suit and a top hat. He has like his like, we could have given a little bit of homage to the comics. A little bit.
Bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but instead he was like an internet incel. Like, I was like,
and was more like a Joker type and not a Riddler
he was
type,
more of
a Joker.
I mean? Yeah.
So
kind of, even if they kind of took the Arkham games Joker and made him like in the movie, I wish at the end it you know what satisfied me? If when they came up to the part where he was at coffee at the end, right? If he was wearing a green suit with the hat and he was like making the Riddler, like he was making the question mark in the coffee. If they just done that, I would have been like, okay, cool. Like, we've got him in his comic book costume. I just feel like they got too far away a little bit from who he is in the comic. But other than that's my only critiques of the film. I actually enjoyed it the second time around. Oh, and Catwoman was pointless. Pointless character in that film. I didn't care about her at all. Her motivations, I didn't care about her vengeance. I didn't care anything about her. They didn't do enough to make me care.
I didn't care about the movie at all, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And I seen that movie 4 times, bro. I seen it
really?
4 times. Yeah, I seen it 4 times. Because the last time I seen it, it was like my son, like, let's go to the theater. Him and his friend came, right? We went at like 10 o'clock to watch it. My son fell asleep. You know what I mean? He fell asleep during the movie. So I was like, yeah, I just, it wasn't for me. I didn't like. But again, I'm consistent because I don't like the Nolan stuff. And this was kind of grounded in reality as well. And that's not what I want to see as a superhero movie, you know? So.
Yeah, it's like it's that balance, I think. But that's why I like Batman Begins so much. I like when they're making his suit and he's like, okay, like when he goes back to like to like R&D and he's just like, I need to go spelunking, like, and he's like, and then like I kind of like it because they play on that, because like later on when he wakes up from getting nerve toxin from Scarecrow, he's like, oh, you know, wandering around, people are passing out weaponized hallucinogenics, you know how it is, like, because he's like trying to keep up the facade when he's just like, don't treat me like an idiot, I know who you are. Like, he saw the Tumblr on like the news, like he knows who's driving that stuff, like that's the other thing I don't like about it. I don't like that it's not about it. That's the one critique.
I don't like
it's that I don't like the Tumblr. I like the Batmobile. I love the 1980s Batmobile.
Absolutely.
I love the animated series Batmobile. I love that long looking car. It just looks really cool. It's just not practical at all to turn in, but it looks cool. And I think sometimes you need that comic book.
Yeah, me too.
Unbelief. It's like it doesn't need to be completely
grounded in reality.
Like,
yes, exactly.
Like, I do like that the suit has its thing. I do like that the cape, like, you electrify it, and that's how he does his, like, you know, he flies down because it's like the rest of the movie's grounded in reality, so it makes sense. Like, Ra's al Ghul is really good. Like, Liam Neeson is so good as Ra's al Ghul in it. Like, I love the training. Like, it shows how he's trained, and I like that grounded in reality stuff. But I think I do agree with you and Mike. It could have dealt with a little bit more comic book make believe. Like, I think it could have had a little bit more comic book make believe in it. And like, but I see the direction when you watch The Dark Knight. You can't do that. The Joker is a psychopath. Like, he is doing everything in reality. He's killing people. He's doing all sorts of things. So So, but in any case, like, this is what I loved about movie. When I first started Movie Talk, this is what I loved about it. I love that we could talk about things and not get upset if someone didn't like something. You could understand. You're like, I understand that you don't like this. I can understand it. I like it, but you don't. Like, and it devolved into, oh, you hate this? Let me just yell at you for like and this is me. I'm talking about me. Let me yell at you for like 30 minutes about how much you're of an idiot you are for liking this TV show, which is what I used to do to Mike when he liked the Marvel shows. To my credit, those Marvel shows are trash. Like, they are trash. Like, Loki is the only semi-decent one out of the lot. Like, stop. Like, the cat with those shows. Like,
I say it's Falcon and Winter Soldier, but Mike counts for like the Hawkeye show, and I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Like,
I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do it. But you can. So you cap for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I can't. I hated that show.
I know, and I got it. It's okay.
And it's not because of like what people think. Oh, you're a white guy. You hated it because of the racial. No, I did.
Yeah, I know. I
actually like that Isaac got. Dude, one of the best parts of that show is at the end when Isaac gets his statue.
Facts.
And I was like, yeah, this is great. Like, he makes sure that he's honored. I'm like, this is what should happen. People should be honored for their service. Doesn't matter what color, race, creed they are. If they serve, they deserve that honor. Like,
absolutely.
And like, that's what I liked about that. But I didn't like. I kind of like him wrestling when he says they'll never let a black man hold that shield. I'm like, literally, a white guy gave him the shield, who was Captain America, and said, "You will be Captain America now." So a white guy gave it to him, like, and made him Captain America, like. So when Isaac said, I'm like, that's a bit forced, but he's also jaded from the past when he was experimented on and used, right? And I'm like, that's what you get. But other than that, I remember I had the big blow up about how that white cop stopped him in the street when they're walking around a black neighborhood, and I'm like, this is forced. Like, this is really forced here. He's like in a black neighborhood, like I'm like, if he was walking around suburbia America, then you could make a racist comment about this. Like, it's like, yeah, this is a white cop going, why are you looking at white people's houses? It's like you could do that, but he's walking around in like what looks like Harlem. Like, it's like, come on, guys. Like, I remember getting like not triggered, but it's like going, this is stupid. This is a bit forced. Like, you could have had the Isaac stuff and done the racial stuff with him, like, and it would have been like, but I did like how he kind of like, that conflicted him. He was like, am I worthy to be Captain America? Like, is it my race? Like, to define, like, I did like that kind of angle, but he had Bucky with him the whole time. This is Steve's best friend. Like, telling you to pick the shield up. Like, his best friend is, like, he says to him, he's at one point, he's like, bro, my best friend gave you that shield. Like, do something worthy of it, my dude. Stop being like so like, oh, I'm conflicted. Like, which I think was cool. And I did like the whole soldier thing in that as well. There was like that soldier thing when he came back and after he killed that dude with the shield, he's like, you made me who I am. I'm like, this is true. The government makes guys go overseas, kill people, right? In the name of freedom and the flag and all the rest of it. And then they don't do anything for them when they come back. And they commit crime or they go into the street. Like, this is America I'm talking about. Here we have veterans affairs and stuff. And I'm just like, this is cool that they highlight. So there are parts of the show that I really enjoyed. I didn't like this. And then one last critique. When he was denied a bank loan, I was like, this guy is famous as an Avenger. Like, and also, where's Tony, my boy? Like, the billionaire. Like, how is his bank account not flushed with Tony Stark's money?
That's the thing.
Like,
I can understand.
This is so unbelievable that Tony wouldn't have set him up. Like, it's like, it's just
that I can understand.
Plot convenience. I was like, come on.
I can understand him not getting the bank loan. I can understand, especially if he doesn't have the assets or whatever. Not because of his color of skin. You don't have the answers, they're not going to give you the bank
bank's
loan.
Not going to give you no matter what color your skin is. Like, they got to be like, you don't have any assets, man.
You saved the world. You know what I mean? Tony's a millionaire.
You're hooked up with Tony.
He's
like,
your best friend. I guess I can understand that. But I mean,
you literally brought half the world back.
Maybe Tony was stingy with his money. I didn't want to give it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe. But it was just like Avengers Tower. Like, he couldn't just live up in there. Like it's just like it's like come on, man. Like, it was just, there was a lot of and then the last part is the villain is forgettable. And then at the end, he gives that big speech about not calling her a terrorist. I'm like, she literally blew up a building of civilians to kill a few bad guys. She's a terrorist, guys. Like, can we not mix Rhodey? That's his name. Yeah, I forgot his name. But like, look, I'm going to give this Captain America movie a shot. I don't like him as Captain America. I'm going to be honest. I know it happens in the comics. But I miss Steve. That's just me. Not because he's white, because I love Steve Rogers. And I love his indignant. And like recently we're watching through the Marvel universe again because my bestie that I live with, she's never seen it. And so I was showing her through it. And like that Avengers scene where him and Tony go at it, I was like, I just miss Steve. Like his whole righteous indignation. Like I just missed that like thing. Whereas like Rhodey, I'm going to give a chance to be more like that. But in Falcon and Winter Soldier, that last speech at the end of that show was just so out of a left-wing like manifesto. It was just so like on the nose. Like, could you not have written something a little bit more like comic book universe rather than so now universe? Like,
realistic.
They're talking about refugees, and I'm like, I don't need to hear real world politics in my comic book films like and shows. I watch this to escape that trash. Like, I just want to watch a movie and I don't care if it's right or left. I just want to watch a movie and like, let's talk about the politics and their thing. And then he's like, they're not terrorists. So it was like a hit on the war on terror. It was a hit on like refugees. It was a hit on like BLM. It was like all of these things that he spoke about in this. And then at the end, they're like, you're Captain America. What are we supposed to do? And he's like, I don't know, just fix it. And walks away. And I'm like, like, I was just like, come on, guys. And that was like the end of the show. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a big fan of this show. Like, just for those reasons in it, I was like, there were highlights that were really good, and there were parts that I was this broke it down for me. Yeah, and I think it was just too soon after Steve. Like, I truly believe the MCU should have taken a year's break after Endgame. And then I think a lot of these shows and releasing all these shows back to back, if they'd done 2 shows a year I think they would have made a lot more money. There would have been a lot more anticipation for these things. And I think it would have given them a lot more time to write good shows and not have to die and stuff. Like, I know WandaVision suffered from pandemic stuff, but even that, the writing in that, like at the end, she's like, "You're a witch." She's like, "I don't even know what you mean." And then the next minute, she's able to control the runes on the walls of this magic. Like, it's just really, really lazy writing in that show. And I just feel like that continued. Like, the MCU, you could predict the MCU shows. They would have a really good start. Then the middle would fall over, and then they do this hype beast end 2 episodes or 1 episode at the end to get you hyped for the next show or the next season or the next movie. That was it. That's what that you could guess what was going to happen in every single MCU show after WandaVision and Falcon and Soldier. Like, it was like,
I agree, because it was the same thing. Yeah, same thing over and over again. And I think you know, it would be like, okay, so now you're getting this whole thing, and then they would just miraculously, you know, settle everything in the last episode. You get all this fluff and all this stuff going on, and then the last episode, boom, you get everything set in. And the shows were like fucking 30 minutes long, and you're settling all of the stuff that you had through the season. You're settling it in 30 minutes of an end of a show. And I was like,
that's what they did. Yeah, they do it all. And then, like, I feel like the biggest disappointment to me was Moon Knight, because like, they got him out on stage and like, this is going to be violent. This is going to be like, we're going to see lots of action in this show. And every time he'd have like a fit, and then everyone would be dead around him. We never saw any action until the end when he's fighting. And they had the big CGI battle between Khonshu and the lizard, the crocodile god behind the pyramid of Giza, while he's fighting like Ethan Hawke. In his glass shoes. And it was like, and then they did that whole, she flies down, so she's the hippo emblem, like, and then she's got wings and knives for some reason from a hippo. And then she flies down, and the girl's like, "Are you the first Egyptian superhero?" I'm just like, horrible. I'm like, okay. Thank you for hitting us on the head. Like, with something that we already knew. Okay, cool. She's Egyptian, and she's just, wow. Is she a cool character? Is she an interesting person? No. Is she an interesting character? Did you write anything interesting about her? No. Like, the whole show, she's talking about her father. I don't care. I do not care that he murdered her father in the desert. I do not care. You have not given me any reason to care about these. That's the problem. And Hawkeye, this is a person who idolizes Hawkeye, but she does everything the opposite of what he says. Every time he says to do something, she doesn't do it. And she gets them in more trouble, which is played off as funny, but these are their lives at risk. You have Widow's sister, I forget her name because I don't care. She is there to kill him, and she misses. She doesn't take the opportunity 5 times. She has the chance to kill him outright, and she doesn't do it. And she even says to Old Love, I forget her name, Hawkeye Jr., she says, "Get in my way and I'll kill you." And then
gets in her way and doesn't kill her.
They fight at the end, and she has a chance to kill her, and she doesn't. I'm like,
horrible.
These characters are not well written. These plots are not well written. Like, there's nothing interesting.
Kingpin. You know what I mean? Let's not forget Kingpin.
Shout out again to Philosophical Pickle. Go look up his video on the Kingpin and the MCU. What we got from Daredevil to this is insanity. It's like you took Vincent D'Onofrio, who was phenomenal in every season of Daredevil, like one of the greatest villains Marvel's ever seen on screen. This guy he didn't have to kill anybody. He just had to look. Like, I remember the scene at the end where he's talking to the lawyer chick, and she's threatening him, and like with like thing, and his eyes, the rage behind his eyes, you can see it. Like, he's such a great actor. Like, they took him, and he's throwing her around a room, and
after pulling the door off of a fucking car, right? Remember, he does that.
In the same show.
I'm like, what are we doing here, man? Like, what is this crap? And Echo didn't do him no justice either.
Oh,
I'm just
Echo
saying,
is
Echo didn't do him no
Dirtface. I call it
justice either.
Dirtface. That's why I was like, they made an Echo show, and then they're like, I should watch it because Daredevil's in it. I'm like, that's the only reason why anybody's watching it. Don't pretend. That's the only reason why anybody's watching this trash show is Dirtface going, the whole show. We're not watching that show because we want to know more about her. We got her story in Hawkeye. We don't need to know any more about her. She's boring. Like, and she has the opportunity to kill people and she still doesn't do it either. Like, these characters' motivation are not like they're laid out at the start, but they don't succeed because the plot makes them not able to succeed, even though they have plenty of opportunity to succeed. That's the problem with the Marvel shows. They're just so badly written. Like, and I just feel sorry for these characters. Like Hawkeye, like they took him away from his family at Christmas to do this, man.
Yeah, it was bad. And Secret Invasion was another one. Started off really good.
I heard that. Yeah,
and
but I heard that
episode shit too bad.
I heard the difference between Nick Fury in that show and then in the movie The Marvels was like didn't make sense. And I was like, this is the MCU. Though. This is what they do. The writers don't talk to each other. There's no cohesiveness anymore. Like, there's no Endgame. Like, up to Endgame, there was a cohesive story. Like, everyone built on each other. They were talking to each other. There were different writers, different directors. But Marvel had a vision for where they wanted to go in the end. They wanted to get to the Infinity Saga and do it and close off that bookend. All the actors, their contracts ended. They were able to do other things. Killed off Tony. They let old man Captain America retire. And they handed it off to these sub characters without really doing the work for us to care about those sub characters. That's my problem with Falcon and Winter Soldier is that they haven't given me enough to care about Falcon, right, the character, and then they're like, here's a shield. Now you're Captain America. I don't care enough about this guy. Like, he was a sidekick. Right? And then they do a bunch of sidekick shows. And it's like, I don't care enough about these sidekicks. You haven't done enough in the movies to make me care about these characters. And then you don't do enough in the shows to make me care. And this is the issue with these things. It's like Daredevil or like the Daredevil universe, if you want to call it, the Defenders universe. Luke Cage, the second season is crap. But like Luke Cage, I loved Luke Cage, the show. I love that show. Like he's going back to Harlem, like he's out of prison, like he's trying to make his life work. He's got the guy that he's kind of his mentor that runs the shop, like the barber shop. Like they give me reasons to care about every character in that show, right? They give me reason to care about every character in Daredevil, except for the chick. She's a little bit annoying, but like Foggy, like I care about his motivations. You cared for him when he sees Matt going through the trouble. Like they give me reasons to care. Like a lot of people, I don't know why, don't like Jessica Jones, but I think it's probably up there next to the first season of Daredevil in quality of writing and motivation of character. This is a woman who was mentally and physically abused by this villain, and she's terrified of him, and he's a terrifying villain. David Tennant is so good as the villain in that show. He might be next to Vincent D'Onofrio as the greatest villain we've seen in Marvel Universe. Like, because he's so like saying stuff to these people like, cut your faces off if we don't come back. Like just stuff like that, just brutal things. Like and then stabbing his mom and like making his mom stab herself like with the scissors and like just stuff that he did like in that show. And then like her victory at the end, being able to like break his hold over her and then snap his neck. That was like a heck yeah moment. Like, and that's the way to do women. By the way, I'll say this: that's the way to do proper female empowerment. That show, she starts off so afraid of this guy, so afraid of what he remembers, what he made her do, which was murder that woman, like all this stuff, right? All these things. And at the end, she gets her power back by beating him. Like, and that's the way to do like a story of female empowerment, the proper way. You don't give her everything at the start. She's so powerful, but she's so interior, like her character is so weak at the start of the show. Like
characters have to grow. You know what I mean?
You don't just give them all this stuff at the start. Like, right. Ray, help me. And so and now they're doing a movie like Star Wars. They're doing a movie about her. Like they're doubling down on their stupidity.
I don't care.
Like that movie's gonna fail. That movie's gonna fail so hard.
100%. I agree.
I'd be surprised if it cracks like 300 million. I don't even think it will do that. And it's a whole run in the cinema.
That's tough. It's Star Wars, right?
I know, but people are gonna want word of no legs, man. I think maybe 100 million.
I don't think it'll have legs either.
But like, I don't even think 100 million because no one cares about this character. Who cares about this character really? Like the people that love that Star Wars will go see it, but the diehard fans know better now. Like,
I think the only chance they have is because it's coming off of Mandalorian and people like Mandalorian, right? So
not the last season. The last season
was garbage.
The last season he was relegated to a secondary character.
Yeah, it wasn't
really
good.
It was all about Bo-Katan. Should have been called Bo-Katan with Mandalorian.
For sure. 100%. It wasn't good. Yeah, it wasn't good. And I have issues with the first 2 seasons as well. Like everything felt like a side quest and stuff like that. So I had issues with the first 2 seasons, but they weren't bad. Last one was pretty bad, but people are still Mandalorian, like it's a start, it's a start. Then Ahsoka came out. And Ahsoka was it had mixed views. I liked some of it, I hated some of it, you know what I mean? So I could see that. So I see people maybe thinking Star Wars is back and they might give it a chance, but I ain't spending my money on that shit. I
don't even think I'll spend my time on it, man. There's better things to watch, like there's more things to watch than like trash. Like, I mean, like I'll watch it like with people like Matrix 4.
Thanks for signing up.
yeah, there it is. No, it does blow. It's terrible.
I remember sitting in the backstage with LDG one time, and he was just giving all of this Matrix talk and what it's gonna be, and
theorizing about it.
And when I seen it, I was like,
nope, none of those things. And like, I even said to him, "This is like when you did WandaVision, man. Careful. You're gonna end up in hospital. Like it's like
tell him.
I'm like, WandaVision, man. You did all these predictions, and it was garbage at the end. I'm like, this is Marvel. Think about it. Like, and that was, but we still had hope because Endgame, right? We still had hope in WandaVision. Then we finally figured out after Falcon, I figured out that like
they were going downhill.
That they weren't going nowhere. Like they didn't know what they were doing. And it was like, okay, now we buckle up. Here comes some hard years. I will say Black Widow is a good film. Like it's a decent film. If it had come out after Winter Soldier, it would have been I think it would have been a hit. It would have been a super hit because it's not a spy thriller, right? And Winter Soldier ends with him giving up and like her going off to do her thing, which is where Black Widow starts. If they had faith in that movie back then, it would have been I reckon it would have been a massive hit.
Absolutely.
I
had issues with Black Widow, but there was some things I liked about it. But it was too late. Right?
Yeah, it was too late. She's dead. Why do I care? Why do I care about this character? You're filling in story that we know how it's going to end. Like we already know the ending. Like, but I watched 2 episodes of Ahsoka and I stopped. Just so we all know. Andor, I will give when they got to the prison. That was when Andor was good.
I won't. Andor was NyQuil to me, boy. When I couldn't sleep,
Andor is boring. I will tell you, Andor is boring. It's boring. You're like, they're in the forest. They're in the forest again. They're in the forest still. Oh, they're in the forest. They're in the forest. When they finally got to stealing the ship, stealing the gold, and then they got to prison, like that's when, that's when it was interesting to me. The prison stuff was interesting.
I stopped. I stopped after like episode 3. I was like, I'm done. And that's the first Star Wars show that I just didn't care to watch anymore. And I never went back to it. Not going to. I'm cool. I'm cool with Andor. You know what I mean? Obi-Wan was a mess. You know what I mean? There were some good things in Obi-Wan, but it was a mess.
Obi-Wan's, I'm going to say it, man. Obi-Wan is trash. And I'll say it because the directing was bad. Like that part where they're in the California, like construction yard and you can see the cranes in the background. That's their location. I was like, they're in a California construction yard. They were using glow sticks as the lightsabers, like on their faces. Like you couldn't see they were doing that as the. I was like, you could tell it was like a glow stick, a light stick. And I was just like, and then like, dude, it's bad. Like the CGI is bad. The location, the directing is bad. The writing is bad. The story makes no sense. Like Leia resists an Inquisitor, and they don't go kill her because she's force sensitive. Like, what is that? They don't tell Vader about it. What is that? It makes no sense, right? And then the best scene in that whole movie is when Vader comes to town and kills all those poor people. That is when he's like, and he breaks that dude. I was like, yeah, this is the Dark Lord of the Sith. This is what we want to see. This is cool. Yep. Like, but like that's it. That's the best part of the whole show, and it's on Obi-Wan on screen. It's Vader.
Actually, his fight with Reva was pretty good too, because he was doing some stuff where he's blocking.
He played
you know
with
what
her.
I mean?
Yeah. Her, like,
but then he stabs her through the fucking chest, and she's in the next episode.
Well, you know, you can survive a chest. You can survive that, except if you're Qui-Gon. That's the only time you can survive it going through your chest. Like.
All the excuses of why
so many Star Wars fanboys.
Like, stop it.
It is crap. It is plot convenience. So she's there to go to meet old maid and see Luke in the field. You know, like that's all it is. So she can go after revenge on them. Like, and then she survives so that we can have her in another. And I was like, and then there was people going, "It's because she's black that you hate her." And I'm like, no. I hate Reva because she's a trash character. I don't care about her at all. You've done nothing to make me care. I don't care if she was Asian or white. It doesn't matter to me. Make her interesting. She's uninteresting. Like you've made you've even made Obi-Wan uninteresting in his own show. I don't care. Like, it's like that's the problem with Star Wars is they've just made uninteresting characters, and that's why like no one wants to be. Even Boyega came out like and was like, yeah, no, they weren't good. Like he is like he had talks with Mark Hamill on the set of Last Jedi, like about how this is not how Luke would act. Like
he does a video that I showed to Danny because Danny wasn't really a big fan of him, right? And then he done a video that I think it was the Breakfast Club where he's talking about it and he's giving his perspective, and you can understand, you know what I mean, like why he don't want to go back there. You know what I mean, like. Adam Driver even too, he said like Kylo Ren was supposed to be kind of the opposite of Darth Vader, like where Darth Vader was, and he wasn't supposed to turn good. And that's what they should have done.
Yeah. No, it was
they didn't need to redeem him.
Kylo was interesting in that he was like fighting the good side. That was the interesting part of his character. That was an interesting thing they could have done with Ben Solo fighting. Yeah. Right? And like I wrote a better movie like within 2 minutes of The Last Jedi. Like The Last Jedi could have gone really, really simply like this. Luke, like so Rey and Finn. Is it Finn? Is that his name?
Finn. Yeah, Finn.
Yeah. They go to Luke. Luke trains them in the Force.
Both.
Finn is Force sensitive as well.
Yes.
Train him in the Force. He trains them as like young Padawans. They're his trainers, right? Then they find that like Leia's in trouble. Like all the rest of it. So on that salt planet that's not supposed to be Hoth, but looks like Hoth, with a blast door that isn't from Hoth, but is actually, it looks like Hoth. Like there's no original ideas in this one.
I know.
And they fly back. This is the end of the film. Start has its own issues, but like they fly out there, right? Luke goes with them in the flesh, right? Kylo comes down, right? And then Luke fights him so that they can escape, and he gives himself up to the Force just like Obi-Wan did. So he can train them in the Force as a Force ghost in the third film so they can finally face Kylo and Snoke. Like,
absolutely.
That's what they should have done, right? That would have made more sense for Luke to go out like as a hero, not this petulant. Even if they wanted to make him like jaded on the Earth planet, not for the reasons that he was there. He wouldn't kill his nephew in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. He saw a little bit of hope in his father in the light side, and he was willing to give his life up to the Emperor so that his father would come back. Like that's where he threw his lightsaber away in the Return of the Jedi, right? But he's going to kill his nephew in his sleep because he notices that he's having dark side dreams. This is the most ridiculous plot point of that whole film. It makes no. It erases his character arc in those first in the original trilogy. And people that go, oh, it's the same as the original trilogy, him doing that. And it's like, yes, because that's what Luke would do. He would know that he could give himself up to the Force and train these two people to become Jedi Knights. And that way you have the Jedi continue. And it goes back to the Force Awakens. It awakens in two of them. It awakens in Rey and it awakens in Finn. Like, not have him a goofy, I'm going to say it, black 80s character, side character making goofball, stupid things in the movie, which is what he was. He was literally an 80s black character, side character.
Absolutely.
When he's like flopping around in the water suit at the start.
Yeah,
like, I was
ridiculous.
just like, this is literally a black 80s character. I was waiting for him to be killed off halfway through the film. I was like, here we go. They're going to kill a black side character. I was like, this is ridiculous. It started with him. Like,
absolutely.
It started with him.
Absolutely.
The trailer for the first movie started in the desert.
Yes.
They could have made him the main character. Like,
yes.
Yeah, it's just so bad what they did to Last Jedi, to what they did to him. Relegated him to some goofball, like, and some idiot. Like, and then at the end, Rose kisses him. Like, he's gonna fly into the laser weapon with his rickety shit. I'm like, here we go. This is when they kill him. This is the end of the black character in the movie. Like, here we go. Like, yeah.
And you know what? I was like, oh, okay, so he's gonna die. I wouldn't have had an issue with him dying with the way they were going to do it, to sacrificing himself. Yeah. I'd be like, okay, I could do with that. At least he's, you know what I mean? And especially when he's like, no, I'm gonna stop them, and he sacrifices himself for his friends to. I could have seen that, but when she hits the ship, I'm like, well, you just killed yourself as well, because there's no way you guys survive in that hit. You know what I mean? But of course, they survive it, and I was just like, what are you doing, man? Like, why are you doing this? Yeah. Like, you could have done so much better, but they screwed it up. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what they did. And then now we have what we have. And now they're doubling down with Rey.
And I'm not interested.
I'd be surprised if it. That's what I'm saying. That movie's not a $1 billion film. Their franchise is dead in the water. Like, Mando held it up on its shoulders for like season 1 and 2. Boba Fett was garbage.
Yeah, absolutely horrible.
And then they had to bring the Mando into that to save it, like
which didn't help.
Didn't help because it was like relegate Boba Fett to a side character. His whole vision quest, like with the lizard in his brain, like I get like, and the tribes don't even show up. These tribes that he was like a member of don't even show up at the end to help. Like they could have had this big action set piece with the Sand People.
Absolutely.
And,
Power Rangers in there and shit. You know what I mean?
The Vespers.
Oh my god!
I forgot about them until you just said that. Those colored Vespers. Yeah. And this it was Cyberpunk. It turned into Cyberpunk 2049.
Yeah.
Like it was like,
because they had that rock song too, right? They kind of
they did the Cyberpunk when he's like I'm going. It was literally at a game. He was like a. What are they? Like a modifier or whatever. And he was like, I'm going to Cyberpunk. I'm going to put a little robot belly. Like, and they're like, like, it's like this sci-fi music or whatever. I'm like, is this Star Wars that I'm still watching? Or am I watching like a fan film of like Cyberpunk 2077? Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, it was dumb. Absolutely horrible, man.
It was really, really bad. Yeah. So, but yeah. There's a lot to look forward to, I think, this year in movies and TV. I've been watching. I was on Basco when he was talking about the best TV of the show of the year and stuff. Jack Reacher is a really good, really fun show. They did a season 2 of that came out. Sorry, Reacher. It's called. Not everybody's name.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's a really good show. Just a really fun. Like he's just an action hero, man, like with honor and whatever. And it's like an investigation show, but it's got some good action set pieces in it. Good story. But yeah, there's like good the television. The Boys season 4 comes out soon. Like that's something that came out too. Like I thought. So, are you a Boys fan?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gen V? Gen V, man, I thought that was going to be trash. And I watched it and I was like, that shit was fire. Yeah, it was like really good. I was like, I'm really invested in this. Like,
yeah, me too.
Yeah. It was, and they didn't even need Homeland at the end, but it was cool to have like Homeland come in at the end. But like,
and then the way it ended, I was like, oh, you know what I mean? I wanted
got
more.
us. Like, there's a good hook. Yeah, it was a really good hook at the end.
You know
like,
what I mean?
damn it, another year. Like,
yeah.
Remember when TV shows used to do that? They'd have a hook, like, and it wasn't like Marvel TV shows, like really, really good. I'm really enjoying this hook. Wait another year now, guys. Like, like, yeah, that was what TV shows were good. Like, they used to do that. Writing was like compelling, and then you were like, I really want to see this next episode. Like, at the moment, so my best friend and I were watching Breaking Bad. She's never seen it, and like I was like, we're through season 3, halfway through season 3. But every time the season would end, she's like, and this is where I had to wait another year to watch this shit. Like, and I was like, imagine me a year later. Like, she's like, I'm like, now you get to watch it like within half a second. I'm gonna put the next episode on. Like, but yeah, like, that's one of the last great television shows of this last 10 years for me. Like, it was Better Call Saul as well.
Very good.
But like, yeah, like it's good to see shows that are compelling. Like, Boys is really fun. I like that it's like makes fun of everything. Like that last season was making fun of, the Trumpers, like, and like and then the Me Too movement as well. It makes fun of that. Like, it makes fun of. It does not hold back. It makes fun of both sides, and I really appreciate when they do that. They're like, we're apolitical. We don't care what your side is. We're gonna mock it. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah,
and they do it in a very creative, good way.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they evolve the characters. They don't knock it you over the head like with.
Yeah, it's really good. So right now I'm watching, and I'm surprised because I hated the first season of Halo. I thought it was absolute garbage. Oh my god! The first episode, I was like, "Yo, this is fire," and then the rest of it just garbage. So season 2 came out, and I said, "You know what? Season 2 is good though."
Really?
Season 2, season 2.
I made it a principle not to watch that show because I heard he took his helmet off, and I'm like, nah.
He does. So if you can't get past that, then you won't like season 2 at all because
they put his armor because he's not ready for it or something. That's the plot line. They have his armor somewhere, and I'm like, this is the Master Chief. What are you doing? Like,
no, it's not that he's not ready for it. It's there's a conspiracy going on which he figured out, right? And the higher ups are trying to, they were trying to sacrifice him or whatever. So they took his suit. So he doesn't have his suit, but the story's good. I'm impressed with the story. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. So, and then the Walking Dead, the ones that lived with Rick and Michonne came out, and that's really good too as well. So
really, yeah. Oh yeah, I've been watching. So I haven't finished The Walking Dead. I stopped. So like I've been watching that, and then I've got to watch the Daryl one, and I've got to watch
those are good too.
Negan and that go. So I got to watch those next, and then I'm going to watch The Ones Who Lived because it has Michonne and Rick back. Michonne was my favorite character in the show. So when she left in season 11, whatever season it is, I forget what I'm up to now. It's just like, what? Now we have no original characters left. What is happening? Like, why was this show continuing? Like, so it's good to have them back.
It really was good. It's good to have them back, and it's good. It's only 3 episodes in, but it's really good writing. Dead City is really good. You get classic Negan in that show. It's really good. You get classic Negan in that. Yeah, really good. And Daryl's pretty good too as well. It's not bad. So I'm liking what they did. I'm like, at least you gave us a little bit of stories, but you gave us good stories. The writing in these shows were really good. Like Walking Dead, kind of, I understand why people fell off of it, but the stories they given us were good. So
yeah.
But it's been like 2.5 hours, bro, and I gotta get up to work tomorrow, man. I appreciate you coming on, having this conversation. It was actually fun. It was really good. It was fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what you have next? What's your plans next, brother?
Mate, what I'm doing at the moment is so one thing I wanted to do since I was a teenager was cosplay. So at the moment I'm working on a Mr. Freeze cosplay,
nice.
Which is a big endeavor because I want lighting and I want other stuff in it. So I'm like working out how I'm doing that stuff. So at the armor level at the moment, I'm working on my freeze gun currently. And working out, tinkering with that, painting currently, and all the rest of it. But yeah, I'm. That's kind of what I'm focusing on at the moment. I want to go to Comic-Con in Brisbane, and debut it. My girlfriend says, I was like, we'll go get a hotel or whatever near the convention because I know where I'm driving in that suit. When it's done, it's pretty super bulky. But like she'll help me in and out of it, I reckon, because like it's gonna need some help getting in and out of. But yeah, it's pretty big. I'm kind of combining all the Arkham suits together, but also doing some classic look. So I'm trying to get like a kind of like my own version of Mr. Freeze, but like.
What are you making the suit out of?
Foam and also 3D printed parts. Like it's easy to cut foam for the bigger art like pieces, but I'm also sending away for some 3D printed stuff. And like it's easy to put embed like seal foam and embed lighting and LED strips and stuff in it. So yeah, it's going to be powered. So the cool thing about Freeze's suit is that you can put like fans and stuff on the outside. So I'm going to have like computer fans. So it's going to blow up through and out the back so that I can actually get airflow inside and not sweat because even though it's going to be kind of autumn here, it's going to be Australia has two temperatures. It's either winter for a week or summer. That's what Australia like North Queensland summer is. So yeah. I got to figure that out. But yeah, that's kind of my next big project. I might be on other streams. I know people have sort of reached out to do some collabs and stuff.
Yeah, sure. I guess Chill wants to come in and talk to you for a bit. No problem. You okay with that?
Is that cool. If he wants to do it on the stream or if he wants to do it in the background, that's no problem with me. I know you got to go. Like I don't have anything on, but like, yeah. I'm cool. Yeah.
I got you. So like I was saying, LDG said something. I need to defend my honor against what Paul said. LDG, absolutely. Hold on. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't see that.
Oh my God.
There you go. You guys got to send it in the chat, man, because when I'm on stream and I don't get Twitter notifications, you know what I mean? So you got to give me some information on chat. LDG, you got the link. Hope you're still there. Chillmonger, you got the link. Okay, he said, back room. Okay, but you can come on for now if you want to. And LDG, if you're still there, I sent you the link. You could pop into as well. I know he wants to talk about the
Matrix or something.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I watched that.
Hey, listen, I still have the video on my channel where we were actually doing the live WandaVision watch party.
Oh,
and LDG
dude.
is like, oh, yeah, looks like mine's going. And he's like, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, no. What's going on here? The look on his face.
God,
what up?
Yeah.
What up, Chill?
What's up? I didn't mean on stream. I know you were ending. I was like, oh, no, before you go, I want to talk to Paul. And you get in the stream. We're good.
I got you. Well, I want to see if LDG is going to pop on here because he said he wanted to pop on here. So you guys have a conversation for a bit. I am going to get a drink.
Oh, is it for public domain though, Chill? Like
it's nothing like that. You know, it's just like, what are we going to do to collab together? Like, what is the next?
Oh, well, thing? I don't know, man. Like you reached out to me about it. So I was like,
you saw the DM? It didn't say seen. It says sent.
Oh, I think I have my thing off.
That's all good.
Hang on. And I think I was getting on with, when I saw it, I was getting on with Nzo. So I was like, I was going to reply to it after this. But yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I don't have read receipts on, I think. But yeah, I will, look, I'll do it now. Look, I'm doing it right now.
Okay, let me ask you an Oscars question.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Were you saying something?
I said, yeah, go. Yeah.
Okay. Out of that Oscars ceremony, they're saying it's the best ratings in the last 4 years. What do you think was the reason for it?
I didn't actually watch the Oscars, but I did watch some of the videos after. I watched Al Pacino's weird announcement. That was interesting. The Barbie performance.
Ken?
Yeah, that was a bit cringe. I think it might be because, was there a host this year?
Kimmel.
That's probably why. Because they returned back to their old way of doing things, and he's safe. He's a safe choice.
He's reliable. I don't think no one's done it more than him.
Yeah, he's reliable. He's a safe choice for them. I think people the genuine audience who are not as smart as you or I, think that he's funny. I don't think he's funny.
But he did something that was unsafe. Donald Trump tweeted on his thing, and then Jimmy Kimmel read it out loud. He's like, "Well, isn't it past your jail time?" That was good.
Oh yeah, I seen that joke. Did you watch the Oscars though? I didn't even bother.
I just saw
I did not watch it. I found out who won afterwards, and I was like, that makes sense. And because I know I don't want to say his actual name. Cole sent me like
the Oscar
Google
list
Doc to guess. I guess most of it, and I hadn't seen half those movies. I haven't seen Oppenheimer, like because I'm like and I talked to Dylan about it, and he was like, yeah, dude, like because I didn't want to see it because they do that whole personal life thing in the middle of it. I know with his affair and all the rest of it. I'm just like, and he's like, yeah, the whole part of the movie is stupid. Like,
you ever seen Drake and Josh, and how it's always Drake's fault?
Yeah, that's what that's what it is for him. It's always
this is the opposite. It's all Josh's fault.
Ah, I see. Right, there you go. Yeah, so I was just like, maybe I'll watch it one day when I have nothing else to watch, and that's very rare these days because I either am rewatching something that I enjoy, or I'm trying something new like Reacher, or like going out to the movies like Baghead, Ignite. I kind of figured that movie would be bad. Girlfriend wanted to watch it, and we ended up laughing at it afterwards at how bad it was. So, yeah.
Whatever you're saying at the end of that sentence, your voice kind of drifted away.
I'm saying like we laughed at the end of the film. Like so in the showing I was in, there was 10 people. 2 people walked out a quarter of the way through the film. Another 2 walked out halfway through when I wanted to walk out. I've never walked out of a film though because someone can't say to me like, oh, you didn't say the end. The end like brings the movie together, right? You missed the twist. Twist in this movie is really bad. So I did a clean slate podcast, but with my best friend in my kitchen with her, and I basically ranted about this movie for like 30 minutes of everything bad I hated about it. So I saved it from doing a stream about it. But yeah, like I burst out laughing at the end of the film. Like I actually laughed in the cinema, and not in a good way. I was just laughing, and I laughed like 3 times really hard. But it was like that's how I enjoyed it. It was at the end it was. That's how I enjoyed it because I looked back at my girlfriend and she was just like, that was really fucking bad. So I was like, and I just started laughing because she was the one that was like, I want to watch this film. And I was like, it's going to be bad. It looks bad. The trailer looks bad. And she was like, no, I want to watch this film. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a chance. And halfway through, she was like, are you bored? And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, are you? And she's like, a little bit. And I was like, I was right. Listen to me about movies. But yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
I mean, I could go an hour and a half with you, but Hanzo's got to end, and I want him to end. LDG's not coming.
Oh, he's not?
I know he's seen the message, but he hasn't responded, so I'm just going to give him a little bit more time.
Yeah, so the Oscars, not surprising.
The award season, though, the way that they swept, the Oppenheimer just swept, I feel like there was some sort of like a neglect for superhero movies because Guardians didn't win special effects, Spider-Verse didn't win animated.
That's bullshit.
Well, it's subjective. Yeah. People like what they like.
Across the universe, people get into that film as not being as good as Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're different. You can't compare them. I think they're different movies. Even though they're animated, I think they're different. I really enjoy Across the Spider-Verse, but I get that people are like, like the cliffhanger at the end of it or whatever. And I'm like, that's how you get people to watch your third part. They do the same thing in Doom Part 2. Like because there's 3 parts. That's what you do. Like, you're making like a continued story. If it's a trilogy, you're going to have continuation.
Yeah.
And I think Across the Spider-Verse was really good for the amount of characters they had in that. And that part where they had all the Spider-Man, even Spider-Man Unlimited was in the background. I was just like, oh yeah, I remember him from the 90s. I was like, I remember watching Spider-Man Unlimited, and I was like, they had all the Spider-Man. I was like, this is great. Like, this is what you want in a Spider-Verse movie. Like, they gave us all of the things, and I like that they had,
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, like just sitting there, like I was like, this is great. I was like, hey, he's the Vulture in Tom Holland's Spider-Man movie. Like, that's what he is. Like, they introduced him in the first film, Under the Bridge. Like, he was there. He's Miles Morales' uncle. Like he says that like he is that who he is, and we're like, oh, he's like, I'm what's his name again? Not Vulture.
The Prowler.
Prowler. Prowler's like, what's his first name? The uncle's name.
Uncle Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron. I'm Aaron Morales. That's what he says.
Yeah.
And everyone that knows Miles Morales comics and others were like, "Oh, he's the uncle." Like everyone was like, "Oh, they're gonna bring Prowler into the MCU." Like that's what everyone thought when they did the first film. So it's like, I like, yeah, I liked it. I liked that. Yeah, I liked Across the Spider.
Look at what Shamik Moore tweeted. When Shamik Moore, the voice actor for Miles Morales, saw it, he tweeted this, and you can share my screen if you're ready.
Yep.
He said, "Robbed with only one B," and that's not no American spelling, Canadian spelling. That's the wrong way to spell it at 7:48. And then he tweeted it correctly, robbed. It took him like how 7:48 to 8:06. You know, it took him a minute. All right. And then I guess people were getting on him, and he hit him with this: "Respect to the winners. It's true, I'm definitely a sore loser, but we didn't lose. Spider-Verse was impacted a lot of lives." Again, a lot that's not a word, you know. "We may not have been acknowledged tonight, but life goes on and beyond. Yeah, get ready." So I think somebody spoke to him, and they're like, "You got to be a gracious loser." That's why all the nominees, even when they lose, they all are still applauding, because, you know, they're kind of on the panel just like we are here, and they kind of know like they don't want to take over the spotlight and stuff. He didn't get that. He must have gotten a message from someone at Sony. Maybe one of the directors hit him up like, "Hey, yo, this is making us look bad. Let's not do that." I think he is right to feel passionate, but like remember Angela Bassett, how she didn't win, so she didn't smile, and she wasn't jolly, but at the same time she didn't do that. That was an impulse reaction coming out of Angela Bassett. That's fine. What Shamik Moore did was premeditated. That's like, I'm going to do the whole thing, then I'm going to click send, and then I'm going to click the spelling error like 20 minutes later. Like that, you can't do that, Shamik Moore. That is a bad look. I think you got to be gracious. Again, it's subjective. It's people's opinions.
And also, the Academy Awards mean nothing. Like they don't mean anything.
Maybe a bigger paycheck. Yeah, we can.
Like yeah. Like it just means like the actors also, like the actors have an Oscar, so they're probably going to get a bigger paycheck in the next film. They're going to get more film opportunities, but probably like best actor and supporting actor, of course, they're going to get that stuff. Like that's what it means to them personally. But in the end, these movies getting these awards, like it's stupid. Like it's like best movie. What was it? What was that joke of a year? Oh, Shakespeare in Love winning over was it Saving Private Ryan. Like that's the joke of the Academy Awards. Like Shakespeare in Love winning over the monstrosity that was Saving Private Ryan. The effects in that, the locations, the actual attention to realism, the fact they got war vets to watch that movie and them going out crying, or their PTSD actually acting out because it was so real to what they experienced. Like the fact that when I watched that with my dad, we had to pause it after that beachhead scene, and talk about it because it was that brutal. Like, because that's what it was like when they came out of those boats. That's when I was like, the Academy Awards is a bit of a joke. Like learning about that is like, okay. But again, you're like, it's subjective, but it's a bunch of, as a lot of people would say, it's a bunch of old white men making decisions. And also the Oscars campaign, they pay people to vote. It's like, if you have enough money, you can buy the votes to win. That's essentially what it is.
And I'm gonna say this: I don't have a problem with what he tweeted. You know what I mean? Hey, you were passionate about your movie, and you understand that it was really good. So I don't, because we always get the same. Oh, you know, it's just an honor to be nominated kind of speech whenever they.
No, there's people that show how much they're upset. Like, do you remember when Sylvester got snubbed for Creed? I think it was Creed or Creed 2.
Oh, he didn't win?
Yeah, when he didn't win. I don't think he won. Like, he didn't win Best Supporting Actor. I think he won. Did he win that? Or no, Creed won like Best Original Screenplay or something, I think. But he got snubbed for one of those movies. And his face, I think he was not happy about it. Like, I love when they show, they don't do it anymore, but I used to love when they'd show like, and the best actor goes to, and then they'd say the name, and I watched all the other people to see their reactions. Because I'm like, do they care really, or are they just really pissed that someone else won over them? And like some of them are really funny sometimes. Oh, Angela Bassett, was it Angela? the one that played, you could see she was pissed for not winning for and then she even talked about it, Wakanda Forever. I'm like, I'm sorry, Angela, but that movie, like, you were good in it, but you were really good and a really bad, like, in my consideration, a bad film. Like, I did not like that film. Yeah, I did not like Voltron, Power Ranger, Iron Woman at the end. I did not like that.
Stallone got Best Supporting Actor for 2016.
Okay, there you go. Okay. He did get it. Okay. I forget what his face was for being snubbed for something, but yeah. Wakanda Forever was a giant disappointment. I'm with Chill on the recast, by the way. I just want to say that officially. Should have recasted him. I am so with him the whole way. No actor is above a role. There was so much more that the Black Panther could do in the Marvel universe. They could have pivoted to him. They could have done a whole. Now they're doing X-Men. They could have the Storm and his romance. Like, they could have done that across the sea. There's a lot of stuff that they could have done with T'Challa, and they chose to put an actor above a role. It's like saying, okay, you can never cast Joker again because Heath Ledger's so good in it. And look what we got with Joker. I know you might not like that film, but he is phenomenal as Joker. Like, and he's a true sociopath in that film.
And I'm just gonna say this conversation was going fucking great until you started agreeing with this guy over here. Now I gotta be like, I can't talk to Paul no more. I'm done. It's over.
Hey, Paul, who's the primary Green Lantern?
It's Hal Jordan.
Oh, here we go.
Hal Jordan is the first. He is. He's the first one.
He is. But who's the better? Who's the better one?
You can't say Jon Stewart because there's been like a lot of different media of him. Like he's like in the animated series, sure, and all the rest of it. But if they're gonna do a Green Lantern show or movie, they need to start with Hal Jordan and not that trash that Ryan did, which he mocked in Deadpool mercilessly.
I'm actually okay with them giving us Jon Stewart.
You can't get to Kyle Rayner or like Jon Stewart Guy Gardner. Yeah, and like Kyle, you can't get to them without Hal first. Hal's the first human Green Lantern. Like
Alan Scott too. Some nerd is yelling at us right now.
Yeah.
Either or. You started, 10 years into humans being Green Lanterns, have Jon Stewart in there. You know what I mean? You get your good, positive Black representation because you have a character who has been Black from the beginning and is still Black towards the end.
Mr. Terrific, Static, Icon. You can do a lot of Black characters. It doesn't got to be him. Vixen, that's Black and woman. Boom, you're covered.
And nobody know fucking Static or Vixen. At least my generation don't know them. Maybe you guys, but
what? Are you listen, I
we were getting
because it wouldn't be a stream and like about movies unless like the old days. But like, listen, Static, I'll bring a shock to your system. That was one of my favorite animated shows when I was a kid. I love that shit. That was so cool. I love that kid running around on that trash can lid with electricity.
I got like 10 years over you guys. I was beating up Poom Poom when those cartoons were coming out. You know what I mean? I wasn't watching Static Shock, Power Rangers, none of that stuff. I was clubbing. You know what I mean? I was clubbing.
I'm going to ask Chill, what do you think about a Denzel Washington?
Oh, no. Oh, Lord.
It's like you said earlier. Magneto needs to be Jewish, you were saying?
Yeah, well, I said he needs to be because Magneto's informed by the Holocaust. Like, that's why they did so well in X1 when they started with him moving the gates. Remember when the soldiers are taking his parents off to the chamber? So it informs how he sees the human race.
And I know your skin could be dark and you could be Jewish, depending on where you're from, but we know the identity of what's popularized is that lighter skinned people who are Jewish. So yeah, it's how they were in the comic books. That's how you make them. And just because Denzel can act and he can perform and do a good job, it doesn't mean what it would mean, and what it would take away is that the studio would say, see, we're doing Black actors. See, boom, enough. And I'd be like, no. Let's introduce Black characters. Because characters are eternal. Everyone's going to die. Denzel's going to die. Just like Patrick Stewart is near death. Just like, we lost Carl Weathers. Everyone dies, but the characters are eternal. Recast. What am I talking about? I'm like mixing my two. Chadwick died.
What?
Everyone.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even making sense. I just think Denzel is not the right one for that. If you want to cast Denzel, Adam Brashear is a comic book character he could play. There's a lot of roles that he could do in Marvel.
I know we just had a conversation earlier about it. We think it would be fire. I'm like, you should do it. You know what I mean? I understand that. Okay, so you see, when I always say, if the character's color doesn't affect who they are as a person, then I don't mind the race bending. I understand that if you make him black, you have to change the whole Holocaust thing, which is pretty much not Magneto, but you can make it similar if you go with the Civil War and civil rights and all that kind of stuff, right? Like we're talking about the Tulsa incident there as well, where you could use that to, kind of replace the Holocaust. So
I just don't see the studio going, let's not do Jews for Magneto. Let's do something. Let's give it to black people. I just don't see Bob Iger doing that, or really anyone in Hollywood saying, oh, there's a Jewish role that's up. Let's give it to somebody else. That's unlikely.
Yeah, you might be right on that one. You know what I mean? Especially when we know 90% of Hollywood is owned by Jews.
The Thing was a cast, and it's a Jewish actor.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Are you saying the X-Men cast has been announced?
No, he said The Thing.
Oh, The Thing has been cast and it's a Jewish actor.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where LDG is, guys, but we're going to take this backstage because I know Chill wants to talk to Paul about some things. Thank you all for coming in and enjoying and watching it. Like I said, everything is done. We cool. We had a great conversation. We'll probably have conversations again as well. You know what I mean? And, at the end of the day, this is where you're comfortable, Paul. If we can constantly have conversations where there's no argument, no fighting, none of that, get back on your shit and do what you have to do, brother. You know what I mean? Because I know you have fans out there that want to see you back on stream as well. So, when you're ready, do your thing, brother.
Absolutely.
Chillmonger, where can they find you, sir?
It's right down there. CHI double hockey sticks MONGER. And I did a video talking about, what was it about? It was about the Oscar Academy Award speech from the guy who did American Fiction. So check me out there.
Absolutely. And like I said, Paul done some stuff on his channel. You could go check out the videos he has over there. And, I could tell he'll be back. You know what I mean? We laughed. We had a good time. He may not do it stream constantly, but he'll probably show up on people's streams. It's all about having fun, man. And if you're having fun, continue to do what you're having fun. Leave all the bullshit behind you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's about, having fun. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
Guys, peace, love, and hair grease. See you on the next one. Thank you all for coming. Again, I appreciate it because without you, what are we doing here? Oh, wait. Hold on.
Oh, what?
We have extended the stream. Mr. LDG Pickles is in the house.
It's John.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you, man. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? Sorry, I'm going to come on camera just in a heartbeat here, but I actually said my piece because it took you a minute to see my DM. I said my piece in that super chat earlier. I just wanted to defend my honor. Because Matrix 4 was effing garbage and an absolute freaking insult to any of the fans. I only defended it, and this is where is he? Where the hell is he? He left? He's not here?
No, he's there. He's there.
He better be there. Okay, Mister, I disappear for a year and don't talk to nobody or DM or nothing like that, you fucking asshole. But you only heard me defending Matrix 4 before it came out. And I was, I gave it to. I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, this can still work out. My theories can still be right. I gotta wait for the movie to actually come out. I'm like, okay, I took a hit. It was like body blow. You know what I mean? Like, okay, the trailer was a little hard to take. But when I see that garbage, I walked out got my refund, demanded my refund for the ticket. Didn't get the refund for the popcorn or the $9 parking fee, just for the fucking ticket, because that was a garbage fucking movie. And I even posted my receipt on Twitter saying, you guys should do this. If a movie fucking sucks like Matrix 4 did, you should walk out of that shit and don't vote with your wallet, vote with theirs. Go watch the fucking movie, hate the movie, walk out and get your fucking refund.
I didn't even know you could do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you just gotta be super obnoxious, and you gotta be
obnoxious. Yeah, you gotta be super obnoxious. Oh, like here,
for the record,
you get a refund if you walk out. I think a quarter of the way through the film. Here,
yeah, quarter of the way through. Or no, I was 75%. I was 75% of the way through, up until I saw the Merovingian, because the best part of Matrix 4 is the Merovingian. That's the best part of the movie. Like he summed up the making of that movie in a single line. No, we used to have class. Now we have pew pew, and it's all your fault. And he said it better than that, but that's basically what he said. And I walked out. I said, listen, this movie's effing garbage. I want my refund. I'm a hardcore Matrix fan. Okay, you can say, oh, do you remember when LDG was in the underground talking about the Matrix? You can joke about that all you want, but motherfucker, I had some great theories. I understood the Matrix. I expanded people's mind when it came to the first, second, and third movie. Okay, I had it on lock, and that fucking movie went and ruined it right off the bat with an 80-year time skip. Oh God!
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm pretty sure Revolutions ruined it, but
no, Revolutions almost ruined it, but there was a deep you didn't listen to me. You didn't listen to my Matrix theories. There was an underground storyline that a lot of people missed, that Matrix 4 was supposed to flip the meaning of Matrix 2 and 3. You were supposed to watch Matrix 4 and say, holy shit, 3 and 4 make so much more sense now. Like, see them as completely different movies, which the Matrix is actually kind of famous for, because if you watch the first one, you go into a certain mindset, but when you watch the ending, if you rewatch the movie, you start thinking other thoughts. Like the plot kind of evolves. Now, maybe not everybody thinks this, but I saw it. I think a lot of people did, because the Matrix was a deep plot. It had very much potential. They had room for ability to have okay, the Matrix was, computer nerds like myself, that was our Star Wars. That's a computer nerd. Star Wars was the Matrix. Okay, that was our freaking Star Wars, and they went and shat on it. And the fact that Warner Brothers was the one that told them, and I didn't mean to hijack your stream, Nzo, man. I'm sorry. When he's like, I remember when LDG was defending the Matrix, I almost shit my pants for a second. I'm like, it was Warner Brothers that forced the Wachowski sisters to say, hey, listen, the only reason we're offering you this job is because it's in your contract. We have a contract to, what do they call it? Renew, or there's a term for it, where they have to give them this, right. Do you want to make the first right? And if you say no, then we can go somewhere else. And they pulled that shit on them and said, hey, listen, you either make Matrix 4 or we're going to make it with somebody else. So no shit, the Wachowski sister said, which one, Lana or Lena, whatever. She was like, okay, you know what? You're going to force my hand. I'm going to kill Matrix 4. And that's exactly what she did.
Mm-hmm. But just to be fair, you are 0 for 2. I'm just saying.
Okay, but you know what? I might be 0 for 2, but I'm 2-0. If what I said about WandaVision, you asshole, you had to bring that shit up. Don't you know that gives me PTSD, bro? Okay. I mean, I literally went to the hospital. Okay. I literally had to talk to a doctor and tell the doctor my reason for being there is because I watched WandaVision. I'm not even kidding you, dude. Okay. Nzo was there. Nzo was on my stream hours before I went to the hospital, bro. Okay, hours before I'm doing a live stream. After it was one of my highest review streams I ever did. It was like Shuma Garath or something like that in WandaVision. And yeah, so if I would have been right in WandaVision and Matrix 4, let me tell you something right now. If I was right, WandaVision would be a rewatchable show and would have made 5 times more money if I would have been right. And Matrix 4 would actually have a chance for Matrix 5 if I was right on Matrix 4. So you can make fun of me. I'm in the multiverse. I understand that I'm in the multiverse where I was wrong. I'm in the multiverse where I'm being made fun of because of it. I get it. But if we were in the multiverse where I was right, we would all be having a different tune right now. I guarantee you.
This guy is using up multiverse. This is coming from the guy who can't stand Endgame and all of those stuff, but yeah, he tried to use the multiverse to be right.
Yo! If WandaVision went down the path I wanted to take, I made thumbnails, I did videos, I watched frame by frame. Okay, I did it. I geeked out on WandaVision completely. Nzo, you can vouch for me right now. I am not exaggerating. Every time an episode went out, I watched that episode frame by frame. It took me 3 days to watch a single episode. Okay, yes. And yeah, I made videos about it. I had theories. I made thumbnails. If WandaVision would have been the way my theories, it would have been fucking awesome. It would have been the greatest MCU. It would have made more money than Endgame. I'm telling you. But no, it wasn't. They fucked it up.
And then the Matrix. I remember sitting in our backstage one time and you were just going off on the Matrix and what Matrix 4 was going to be and blah, blah, blah. And then I seen it and I was just like, wow, this is nothing to what
it was so bad. It was so bad that I watched it on the high seas. But at the time, the version that was available was a really horrible version. So I really couldn't hear a lot of the stuff that was going on. And I really couldn't see a lot that was going. It was really a horrible version. And it was so bad that I'm like, okay, I think this movie sucks balls, but I have to go I have to watch it at the theater where I can actually hear everything and see everything. And that's when I walked out and I did a live stream on it. Did you watch the live stream? Right? I was like, hey guys, I'm at the theater. I'm about to go watch Matrix 4 on my cell phone or whatever. And I walked in and I said, all right, guys. And now all the way up until I got into the theater. And I was like, all right, guys, I'll see you when I come back. I'll stream after I'm done. Click next live stream. What the fuck was that movie? Son of a bitch. Matter of fact, I think I was actually showing my receipt, asking the guy for the receipt on the live stream. And surprisingly enough, he gave it to me. He didn't fight me. He didn't ask me, when you get pulled over by a cop and they ask you those questions. He didn't do any of that bullshit. He's just like, no problem. Here you go. He did ask. He asked. He goes, "What? Do you want the receipt for everything?" I'm like, "No, sir. I don't want the receipt for the $30 popcorn, the $10 drink, the $9 parking. I just want the receipt for the money that's supposed to go to the fuckers that made this movie." And boom. Got I think it was $18 or something back because it was an IMAX film. So it's like almost $20 to go see one of those movies. And he gave me the receipt. I took a photo of that shit. I walked, I streamed myself. It was just funny too because I went back to my car. I couldn't find my car. I'm like, did these son of a bitches tow my car because I'm doing this on a live stream or something? I got a little paranoid for a second. But no, I just realized I was parked somewhere else. And I was like, all right, yeah. And I put my receipt on Twitter. You go to my Twitter profile, you will find my Matrix receipt for my refund proof. And I wish a lot more people did this. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually thinking of doing a video on my channel now. Since my recent success, I want to make a video and say, vote with their wallet, not yours. You vote your wallet, you can be replaced, right? Squeaky wheel used to get the oil. Now the squeaky wheel gets replaced. They don't give a shit if you don't want to come see a movie. That's fine. That leaves rooms for somebody else. But if you go see that movie, give it a shot, realize it's garbage, and ask for your refund, you took that seat. You took that money that could have been somebody else's. You got your refund. And I think if a lot more people actually did this and said, okay, you're going to force us. You don't let us watch shit. You're fighting people who are doing content matches on reviews. You're changing the fact that when people leave movie theaters, they're not interacting with the people going into the theater. So they specifically can't say, oh, that movie was garbage and get people to turn around. They're doing this shit. This is fact. Okay. And you want to do all this stuff and make it so we have to go see the movie, then okay, I'll go see the movie. And if I think it's effing garbage, I'm going to take my seat, walk out, and get my money back. And you know what? I'm not going to get my money back for the food for the theater because the theater experience those people work hard. They deserve their money. Don't ask for the refund for your popcorn. Just ask for the money back for your ticket that's supposed to go to these fucking assholes. And maybe one day you'll see Nerdrotic or whoever the hell talking about, hey, there's a new demographic now. There's a new analytic now of people asking for their refunds. Do you hear about that? You don't hear about that right now. You only hear about box office tickets. People who have and people who have not went to see the movie. But what if all of a sudden now, like 30% of people ask for their refunds back, and the movie only made 70 million? Well, 30%, that's a big, a lot of money. I think would actually go and make some honest change around here. Sorry, now shut up now.
No, you do make a good point about taking a seat and then getting your money back, because that's money they lose. It's not like they can give it to anybody. I just don't think theaters are going to start refunding people's money back, you know what I mean, because they didn't like the movie. And if they do and they see it's going to be a lot, I think they're going to try and stop it, you know.
You know what? You know what, though, when it comes down to it, and this is the kicker, right? You made a good point. And I get why you see that. I thought the same thing when I first thought about this. But when you don't ask, okay, they don't make their money on the ticket.
I agree.
Theaters make what, like 10, 20% maybe on the ticket, maybe. Most of that money. Sorry, you agreed? Oh, you agreed, Chillmonger?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
He's still muted, bro. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Still muted, bro.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
On opening weekend, the percentage that goes out to the studio is way bigger than the percentage that goes to the movie theaters. It is nearly a third of your ticket. But then later on, the theaters are incentivized to keep the movies in the theaters because they get a higher percentage. It'll be like 60% going to the theater and 40% going to the studio. So that's why that's the incentive for good movies to stay around.
Longer.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Most of the
opening weekend is the more kicking the balls.
Yeah, so the opening weekend, but also like most of the money that cinemas make here from concession stands. That's why everything's
same here. Yeah.
Oh, and don't ask for your money back for the popcorn. Don't get me wrong. Listen, I for some reason, I don't know if this is the same for you guys, but here in Florida, the concessions at a movie theater have gotten worse over the last 20 years. And specifically the popcorn. I remember some really good popcorn at theaters, like really fucking good popcorn. Okay, not the stuff that you throw in a microwave for 2 minutes, or the stuff that you have in a tin and you boil it or whatever the hell. Really good popcorn. Yeah, but I tell you that the popcorn is not that good anymore. Even when you go to the expensive places, the popcorn is like garbage, like
absolutely,
like bad.
I think the popcorn is worse at the expensive places. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But even that being said, if the movie's that bad and you really stand for your morals and you want to see better things, right? You want to see Hollywood doing what they used to do, or doing better than what they used to do, because what they're doing now is absolute garbage. What they did to Mortal Kombat, what they did to Matrix 4, seriously, all these movies, I can keep naming them.
Mortal Kombat was amazing. It's so good. It's one of my favorite films of that year. I love Mortal Kombat.
Dude, the main character literally had plot armor.
Yeah, he was amazing. Yeah, that was so good when that was his ability at the end. He had the armor. I love that movie.
He's fucking with us, dude. He's pulling his Super Saiyan tail right now.
He was so good
yeah. He's biting his nail right now because his lips are like, I can't say these words. Yeah, exactly. Anywho, but don't ask for your money back for that. Just hit him where it counts. Ask for the money back for the ticket. And if there was a movement that did this, maybe something would actually happen. Something more than some YouTuber having 5,000 views at a show.
The first
something
movie
actually
I do that with is going to be Mortal Kombat 2. If I go watch that movie and it's garbage, LDG, I'm gonna go and ask for my money back. Fuck that movie.
Well, you know what? They brought Johnny Cage back, though. I heard they were actually making a better strive this time, listening to the fans. Was there new news I haven't heard yet?
Yeah, no, Johnny Cage.
Urban.
Carl Urban. Awesome.
Yeah,
he's great.
No, he's too old. Yeah.
Dredd.
He's too old to be Johnny Cage.
Did they bring him back, the original actor?
No, it's Carl Urban from The Boys.
Yeah. Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, he's too old.
He's 51.
He's too old.
Nice.
I just saw a thumbs up on your screen.
Yeah, I see it too. But he's too old.
It's a subconscious thumbs up.
I'll give him a chance. I will, because I want to see where they're going with the older Johnny Cage. So I'll give it a chance. But Cole Young has to die in the first fucking 5 minutes of that movie.
30 seconds, bro. 30 seconds. You're giving him way too much time. Cole's got to go. Cole's got to go, bro. How can you expand upon that, though? How can you expand upon his power?
Tell me
the
that
guy's got
tell me-
ultimate
tell me
plot
that
armor.
movie-
How
hang
do
on.
you
Tell me how
evolve
that
that?
movie didn't do Scorpion and Sub-Zero amazing. Tell me. Go ahead, LDG. Make that argument to me.
Bro,
Tell me how-
that movie
make
was
that
so
argument that
bad, my
Scorpion-
brain
tell me-
formatted those
Yes,
brain
you
cells.
can't.
I don't
You
even remember.
can't
Was
do it.
Scorpion
No, no.
in that movie?
No, you can't. Scorpion was
No, no.
fire
he
in
was.
that film. He was
will
so
make-
good.
I will make that argument. I will definitely make that argument. Scorpion was good in the movie, but then you get to the end fight where it's him and Sub-Zero, and fucking Cole Young has to come in and fucking end up killing Sub-Zero. Like, no, that should have been Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight. Cole Young should have been off doing somewhere else. Cole Young killed Goro. Like,
But that was too early, though. If this was supposed to be a prequel of the original Mortal Kombat, Sub-Zero and Scorpion should not be fighting each other to death yet. They're like totally enslaved. Now, I like the scene. That's great. Now that you're finally getting me to my brain cell to think about this.
When he kills him and he says, "I'm sending you to hell," dude, that was a fist bump moment. If there ever one in the movie, that was amazing.
The beginning of it, where you saw him and fighting like
family?
before they. Yeah, his family before they were actually like, Sub-Zero and Scorpion. That was okay.
It was great motivation.
That was, but if I remember correctly, there was a continuity that they broke in the Scorpion Sub-Zero story. I just can't remember what it was, but I do remember there was a continuity break in that story that they shown, because I don't remember what it was. I would have to rewatch the movie. I don't, but it was something important that they fucked up on. They retconned or whatever the hell you want to call it.
There was. I can't remember either, but yeah, there was an issue that I had with it too. But yeah, I mean the fighting is Mortal Kombat. Fighting is supposed to be good, right? But the story, like, okay, so
so you just admitted the fighting is good in the movie.
Some of the fighting in the movie is good, yeah. Some of it
so it's not trash.
Hold on.
Okay, it was good. It was good,
earlier,
but
you can hate a film, but it's not trash.
It wasn't better than the original MK. The fighting in MK was a million times better.
Oh no, you old men are like looking at nostalgia goggles, like Batman '89. It's so
that
great.
was the kind of because it was choreographed to the point where it was like the game. That's what I'm talking about. It wasn't like Jackie Chan or anything like that, but it was choreographed in a way the game was choreographed. It was like the movie Doom with The Rock, right? That movie was absolute garbage, but there was 5 minutes in that movie where if that would have been when they went in first person, if they would have had the entire movie like that, that movie would have been a million times better. But they only gave us 5 minutes of it. And that would and then they say, "Oh well, no, because nobody's going to care about first-person movie." Bitch, you're not making this movie for them. You're making this movie for us.
Hey, it was a movie that came out. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
I know which movie you're talking about. The guy that.
The actor that's from the A Team, but it's like it's all first person. That was.
It's all first person.
Really good. Yeah, that was.
Can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. But yeah, you had Raiden, right? They take these guys to this place to train, right? The bad guys get in, they break in or whatever, and then Raiden takes them to a spot where they can't reach. And I'm like, well, why didn't you just take them there first to train?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what is it? No. Fuck this Mortal Kombat
that
movie.
whole underground force field bullshit, dude. That movie was garbage, bro. Okay, at least Street Fighter had more potential than that Mortal Kombat movie, and that's saying something.
Are you talking about Street Fighter: The Tale of Chun-Li?
No, I'm talking about Street Fighter, the fucking movie. Shit.
I would give
You're capping so hard, Enzo.
Street
Fighter: The Tale of Chun-Li is one of the best movies I've seen.
I know, and it's better than Mortal Kombat, right?
No, it's not.
You give these guys this mark called the Arcana or whatever it is, right? So the only way to get your power is to have that mark on you, right? And you have to kill someone with it. So what if I'm driving my car and hit somebody by accident who has the mark and kill them? then I'm gonna have the mark, right? Because
there you go, Mark Kane, bro.
Isn't it via Mortal Kombat though that you have to get the mark?
No, because she killed.
No, I don't think so.
Because she killed Kano in the desert and then got the mark, so it wasn't in the Mortal Kombat battle, right?
That was the worst part of the film because that guy Kano was great.
The whole movie was
they should have made Mortal Kombat more focused on the fact that you had make it more like the video game. Yes. And the thing that sucks is that when you say something like that, you get the response of people saying, well, no one's gonna watch that. You're only catering to the core fans, but yet you don't realize that we weren't core fans originally. I remember watching Mortal Kombat, the video game, was like 9/11. I remember where I was, what I was doing. I remember that I can go back in my mind.
When you said it was like 9/11, I didn't know what direction.
Be careful, bro, because I do this kind of shit, bro. Okay, I apologize for being Hitler, but anyway, I remember where I was the very first time my eyes laid hands on Mortal Kombat. I was in an arcade in Orlando and Florida, in a Florida mall. I was like, oh, I'm at the arcade. Cool. This is a cool arcade. I like this. Maybe I'll come here more often. Oh, I'm seeing Street Fighter. Oh, I'm seeing some cool games here. What the hell is this game that everybody's there's 9 people around this one game. Yes. What's this game? And as soon as I poke my dude, I was 11 years old or some shit. I poked my head finally in between 2 people's shoulders, and guess what the very first thing I saw of this game was? Sub-Zero. And I swear to God, dude, perfect timing. Sub-Zero's freaking fatality. That's the very first existence I had when I turned my head and I saw somebody ripping somebody's head off with a spine attached. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I fell in love. And if I was I was a regular person at that time, and then I fell in love with that and became a core, what they would call a core fan, then why don't you think if you did the same thing at a movie worldwide, that you wouldn't get a million, millions of other people thinking the same thing? No, you want to make sure everything's modern and retro, hip with the new crowds. So you make these movies the way you think people want to see them, instead of what originally got the fans interested in the first place. That's what pisses me off.
Have you seen Revenge of Scorpion, the animation?
I believe I have. I've seen yes.
That's how they should have did the Mortal Kombat movie. Liu Kang was the one that, had to fight at the end. They had the tournament. Jax gets his arms ripped off by Goro. There's a tournament. This is Mortal Kombat. If they would have made this movie, that shit would have been lit. But they decided, like you said, that they think they know what we want to see, and we got to put a Cole Young in there, guys, because we have too many white people. And I'm going to say it, they have too many white people in the movie, so we got to put Cole Young in there to lead this movie. And I'm like, who the fuck is Cole Young? What are you doing? What? Fucking dude that couldn't fight? He gets powers and then beats Goro?
And what pisses me off is that they had the perfect transition. They could have made the movie thinking that Johnny Cage was the main character, but in the end, it was Liu Kang. But you could have played that on the screen. You could have shown it like it was like, oh, who's the new bad boy in town? It's Johnny Cage. You know what I mean? But at the end, switch it over where Liu Kang was the one that would finish the story and became the new main character. They could have really done something cool with that, but they didn't. And then all I got was a watered down Mortal Kombat that made absolutely no sense. And then after the entire movie, you're asking yourself, where's Johnny Cage? Where's Johnny Cage? Where's Johnny Cage? The last scene is a Johnny Cage poster. And I was like, dude, you spit in my face and kick me in the nuts. Why did you fucking do this? Why? You what?
Felt like 9/11.
Bro, when your favorite video games go down in bloody murder, I'm telling you, bro, you don't understand, bro. When Mortal Kombat 1 came out, there were very few movies that brought the fandom like Mortal Kombat. When I went to the theater at Mortal Kombat, there was a line. When I say line, I mean people were lined out
around the block,
through the movie theater, out the front door, and beyond.
Yes.
Okay. I've never, and I know you've seen things like, okay, I wasn't around 1969 when Star Wars came out and people were lined up for that. I wasn't around for that. When I went there weren't, Street Fighter didn't have these lines. Okay.
And it was
when Mortal Kombat came out,
you had to actually go, and
Star Trek didn't have these lines. Okay. I went and saw some good Star Trek movies. They didn't have these lines. Okay. Mortal Kombat brought the fucking fandom out. Everybody. That was the one theater where I was like, this is the movie experience. When Reptile came out, every motherfucker and the entire theater was standing up screaming. Everybody was. When you heard Reptile, everybody stood up. Everybody was screaming. Everybody knew what was going on. We were all in sync. It felt great. You don't get this kind of interaction today in movie theaters. You don't.
And
you get the occasional, oh, ha, 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 it's a joke or whatever. Oh, the music was on par.
Jeez, fire.
Music was on par. The soundtrack for Mortal Kombat 1 is off the chain, typo negative. I mean, you had just so much. Even the theme song, they did a great freaking a remix of the theme song.
Yep. 100%.
They even used the original, and this is for the millennials and whatnot. They used the game sounds in the soundtrack. And then they mixed it great. They used the original voice that would call out the names. They had the excellent guy who was Mortal Kombat. Do. That shit was fucking off the chain. You don't see that shit now. Not now. You got like Celine Dion singing for Mario Brothers. I mean, no.
Facts.
Excuse me.
Facts. I agree with you 100%. Any thoughts, Paul? Or Chill? Did you even like the Mortal Kombat movie?
No.
Oh, you see, okay.
Oh God. How old are you? Sorry, bro. No disrespect.
You know what's happening on your screen right now, LDG?
What's happening on my screen right now? I have no clue, bro.
A family member and a dog.
Okay, that's my neighbor walking by my computer. Sorry. And my boy Rex. Yes.
What are we talking about here? Jeez.
Yeah, no
Finish him.
The first movie was a classic.
Was that
video game movie that actually? No one's going to deny the first movie was a classic and one of the only video game movies that was successful for its time or even now. But what I will say is the new movie was great and I enjoyed it and I thought it was really cool. The fighting was really great and I liked the characters, especially the Australian character because he was very Australian.
They put a lot of work into that movie.
Was actually Australian. Funnily, you cast a person who is an American to play an Australian. You cast an actual Australian to play an Australian and they actually act like an Australian. Imagine that. That should be a keynote for Hollywood.
Oh, Kano was raw. He was boss, bro. That was the perfect Kano.
Exactly. That's why I loved him. That's why I was like, yes, this movie is fire. It's lit.
They nailed him.
And you know what? The other thing is like,
yeah, go ahead.
This is Americans, man. When they cast like Americans to play Australians, they do this. I come from the outback, mate. I can do that fucking accent. It's not how we sound. Like, you know, like we don't come from Central Australia, from the outback. There are city folks that speak like me. Like,
and I'm gonna say what you said at the beginning, Paul. I'm glad you liked the movie. I'm glad you did.
I just made a point to say trash because you hate it, because it's well directed. There's some really good fights in it. The acting is really good in a lot of places. Kano is a really, really good character and played very well. So it's not trash. It is,
so
just don't
they
like
all played good. I mean, the only person I would say was low was, and I give Sonya props, but Sonya was the only one I was slightly disappointed with.
Yeah, they're all good.
I was kind of
she was still good. I just thought she was going to be more like Sonya's a little bit more, you know, what's the word? Confident. Yeah, she seemed a little not confident in that movie and kind of stumbled upon her victories. And out of all the movie, like, that was the only issue. Like I had no issue with Sub-Zero. Scorpion, even Lambert as Radian. Radian. Oh my God, dude. Raiden. He did a great job. I would say he would be the most likely. To be honest, Johnny Cage did a great job. That guy nailed it. Yeah, he did. He wasn't disappointing. The way he was able to play in his split with the ball cracker, that was beautiful. That was gold. That was fucking gold.
Absolutely.
Reptile, the way they introduced him as a secret character without without like the whole knocking people down to the pit. They did that beautifully. Even Luke Kane was awesome. But Sonya was a little disappointing. That's why I'm curious to see what Chillmonger. What was your issue with the movie, man? Like seriously.
I'm just not a fan. When I was watching it, it was like a TV movie. I'm younger. I'm just like, okay, cool. Things are happening. I know the game, but it just wasn't appealing to me.
Are you talking about the original film?
The original movie, yeah, Mortal Kombat 1.
You're talking about the original.
The original Mortal Kombat 1. I'm sorry.
What year?
1998.
That's what I'm talking about. I was just like, okay, there's a movie on TV. It's Mortal Kombat, just like the game. I watched the majority of it, and it just wasn't for me.
Okay, if I let me just ask real quick, and I'm not trying to hijack here, guys, but I love Mortal Kombat. What was the best part of that movie? Then just tell me what did you like the best?
I remember
the Scorpion fight with Johnny Cage.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. When he says to get over here, you know what I mean? But hold on. Wait a minute. I think we're missing something. So have we been playing any Mortal Kombat there, LDG?
What, the game?
Yeah.
Oh, you are okay. Yeah. Okay. Low blow. You know what? Blow me.
No.
Okay. I caught on. Haha. Very funny.
I'm asking if you played any of the new ones. You know?
Yeah. Sure. No.
Mortal Kombat.
No,
1?
I haven't played the new one yet. No, I saw you were playing actually.
Yeah, I was playing LOWKEY, and
you had a couple streams about it. I saw that, but yeah, if you're bringing back the times when we played and I kicked your ass the very first few nights, and then you kicked my ass a few nights after that, yeah, I remember that too. Yes.
Well, they're still up on the channel. We can just go back one day and look at them and pretty much see how me and
I gotta take my foot too and yeah. Okay. All right. Too bad I sold my PlayStation 5, unfortunately.
Whenever you get it back, brother.
Yeah.
Whenever you get it back.
I gotta say though, the one thing I will say bad about Mortal Kombat is ever since Mortal Kombat, and I got the balls to say this. Anybody after Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate Edition, Mortal Kombat's really taken. It's really taken a hit. I mean, it had its ups and downs. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 4 was absolutely garbage. And then after that, they came out with the new mechanics and bone crushing special effects. But listen, I'm a programmer. Okay, I'm literally Neo. You can't buy me out because you have really good cinematics and you figured out how to put really good cinematics in the middle of a live game. I'm not going to give you credit for that. That's what that game was. The bone crushing, those were all cinematics. And that's all I'm saying. It's like that didn't. You're not going to fool me and make me say, "Oh shit, great mechanic that you know how to put a awesome looking." Okay, some computer took a few days to render. Slow motion, bone crushing special effects and whatever, but that's not really in the game. Like the game itself, as far as the mechanics it used to have, really starts dying out after Mortal Kombat 3. I'm sorry.
I can agree with you. Some of the fighting is good. I understand with the fatal blows because it gets ridiculous. Like it's like a saving grace. You know what I mean? You could be losing the game and you catch your fatal blow, and if you catch the guy with enough energy, like there's a little bar. If you catch him where he's under that bar, you could kill him. You know what I mean? So it's like a way to a cheap way to get a win if you're losing, and you can sneak that in there, right? So I understand that. But some of the other fighting mechanics, like combo wise, and I think 11 was best with the combo wise. I don't like 1 at all. I'm not a fan of it. But Mortal Kombat 11 was my shit.
No, because you know what? Because after Mortal Kombat, the last fighting game that had a really cool mechanic was Killer Instinct.
Oh, absolutely.
And then after Killer Instinct, it's like they gave the fuck up.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Mortal Kombat 3 had some really good pushes. Then Killer Instinct came with some really better pushes. And then all of a sudden, then fighting games have literally gone the way of Tekken. And I'm like, that's boring as shit.
Mortal Kombat tried to copy, because remember, Mortal Kombat 4, they introduced the run and the little combos with the buttons, right? So they tried to copy Killer Instinct a little bit, and even though it didn't work. That combo.
No, it didn't work. In Mortal Kombat 4, they were experimenting with 3D, like actual 3D, like Tekken did. Like so, like you had Virtual Fighter and Tekken that already was experimenting with 3D, and then by the time Mortal Kombat 4 came out, I think you already had like Tekken 3 by then. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah,
maybe Tekken 2.
Tekken was out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, these games have already been out with 3D, and when Mortal Kombat 4 came out with it, and they couldn't get their timings right. The game was off on its timings, and it just felt like you were just like controlling a half brain dead character, for God's sakes.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, it's 3.5 hours. We're gonna close it up. We could talk backstage, but as the stream itself, we're gonna close it up. I'd like to thank you guys for all popping in. It was a pleasure. We outie LDG. Thank you for coming. Paul, thank you for coming as well. Like I said, you know what I mean? We're gonna move past all the bullshit and we're gonna go and have some fun. It was great to have you guys on the stream today. You know what I mean? LDG, congratulations on your channel growth, bro. Fucking amazing. I am proud of you, man, because I seen the way you struggled on that channel and then boom, blew up. Good job.
You know what I tell people, right? I was giving you guys a head start. 5 years. I was giving you guys a head start.
Well, you gave us a head start and then fucking lapped the shit out of us. When I seen that, I was like, wait a minute, what? 11K? Really? I went to the channel, I was like, oh shit. Then I went a day later and I seen 24. I was like, God damn, good job, bro. Keep it up, man. Kill the algorithm.
We'll see.
Man. You know what I mean? Guys,
appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Let me tell y'all what's happening. Man, ain't doing no capping. Chilling with girls in the video, show me love, cause they know that I be racking. All the damn time when I'm rapping, I'ma tell y'all what's happening. I'ma pull the act up, I'ma roll it back up, then I get cracking. What in the fuck are you gonna do? I roll up a bill right in front of you. I got a 4runner on 22.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.